From Darling Stadium in Hampton, WHCS Cable Channel 46 presents Peninsula District Football, the Warwick Raiders and the Hampton Crabbers. Good evening, everybody. I'm Tim Cole along with Bob Hintz. We welcome you to a rapidly filling Darling Stadium for a huge contest tonight between the Warwick Raiders, undefeated at 5-0, and the Hampton Crabbers, once defeated at 4-1. Bob, this is going to be a very good game. I've been looking forward to this all week. The big question here is, how does Hampton react coming off of a loss, which is a rare thing for Hampton in the Peninsula District, against a very good Warwick team?
Well, you know, you have to go back and look at when Hampton lost before, and that's what I did. I went back and watched when they lost to Heritage and when they lost to Kickoff early in the season, and they would regroup, make the changes they need to, make the adjustments they need to, and then Hampton comes back and plays well. They don't worry and think about that loss. What they think about is, we got to get to the playoffs. What do we have to do to get to the playoffs? We can't lose anymore. You could probably go to the playoffs with an 8-2, but it's much better to go with a 9-1.
Well, and I agree with you about what they've done in the past, but I don't think I'm the only person to say to you that I'm not certain that this team is up to the par of some of those past teams. You're talking about teams with Ronald Curry at the quarterback and a much, I guess you might say, more explosive team than Hampton has. Take nothing away from Hampton. They're a good team. There's no question about that. But I only ask that question. Is this team going to be able to do what teams in the past have been able to do before? But you're absolutely right. They get focused. It's now playoff time.
Right.
Every game from now on is a playoff game in their mentality, I'm sure.
Well, if you remember, that's what Mike said back when they lost to Heritage at the beginning of the year in that overtime, and when they lost to Kickoff when Kurt Newsom was coaching over there. Their mentality was, we have to think of every game as a playoff game. Now, this Warwick Raider team, Tim, is a good team. Marcus Vick is a good quarterback. That's not his position. He's really a much better wideout, but he is the best athlete and the best quarterback they've got, so they're going to use him. And I looked at the roster. They've got 10 guys that are 220 and above. So they're not a small team. Hampton is not going to push them around. So they're going to have a hard time. But I think with the experience that Hampton has had in playoffs, and you got to look at it that way, that's what we're looking at tonight. This is a playoff game.
Well, I think you're absolutely right, and I'm not trying to be disparaging about Hampton, but I think that they've had some uncertainty, if I can use that word, at quarterback. I understand. In fact, I think tonight we have a very good chance of seeing Jimmy Williams either play the whole game or play a lot of this game.
Well, and see, he played the second half the other night against the Hurricanes. So, yeah, you know, and we're going to see some different changes. We'll probably see some different looks. But what you got to understand is what the coaches at Hampton and at Warwick do is they prepare for this game, and they don't look for anything else. This is the game we prepare for. What are Warwick tendencies? And Warwick's saying, what are Hampton tendencies? This is what we got to find. The weak spots, that's what we concentrate on. That's what we go for.
Well, it's a huge game. Right now we're going to go back in time. Bob had a chance to talk with head coach Tommy Riemann of the Warwick Raiders.
I got the Warwick Raiders coach Tommy Riemann with me. And Coach, good season so far, undefeated. Now you're coming into the media season. You're going to meet a lot of kids, but you've got a lot of young kids on your team. I was noticing on the roster you only have 10 seniors, so you've got a lot of kids that are learning and evidently doing pretty well.
Yes, that's our program. I mean, we never have no more than 8 seniors. You know, so that 10 is a large number. However, we have been improving. This is what we call the Oktoberfest. Day one, game one. So that's all we're concerned about. I think we worked real hard in the off season just for the Oktoberfest.
Okay. Well, I know that a lot of spotlight has been put on Marcus Vick because of Michael, and that's sometimes a good thing, sometimes a bad thing. But you've got a real good supporting cast. You can't be a good quarterback without somebody to help you.
Well, it sounds like the days of Ronald Curry and Michael Vick. Ronald Curry had a great support cast, right, and Michael Vick did not. So we hope to supply Marcus with a supporting cast.
Good enough. Well, listen, we want to offer you good luck tonight.
Thank you.
And we'll run up to Tim and be back in just a minute.
Coach Riemann, of course, doing a great job over at Warwick. He's got a young team. You know, you talked about the fact that he's only got 8 or 10 seniors on that squad. Here's Marcus Vick, and I hope that's the the time I'm going to remember not to call him Michael all night because
Yeah.
everybody talks so much about his older brother, but Marcus Vick is doing a great job. But he's got some good support. He's got a young man called Terrell Johnson, who's a very strong running back for that team.
Right, and they've got some good kids on the defense too. But I talked to Coach Freeman early in the week, and they had ESPN over there, CBS was over there. So that's got to mess with the concentration and maybe the psyche of the kids a little bit, and maybe he can use that as a positive. I don't know, but I know that it can be distracting to have national recognition for your program, and he has it because of Michael Vick and because of Aaron Brooks, and because of those two young men, that focuses in on his program. Of course, it doesn't hurt that he played in the NFL and was in North Dallas 40 and all that. I talked to him a little bit about that, and he said, but I was 100 pounds less and had a lot of hair.
Weren't we all?
But, to get back to tonight's game, it's going to be a team that can minimize the mistakes, the turnovers that hurt Hampton last week. If they can minimize that and take advantage of the weaknesses of each team, we'll see who can make the adjustments. And we have seen the Hampton coaching staff make adjustments time and time again.
Well, and let's talk a little bit about Hampton before we go back to the interview with Mike Smith. Now, they've got Carlos Campbell, who arguably, I've always thought he was the best athlete on the field most of the time. So he does it all. But he's also very adept at catching the ball, running with the ball, being on the option. Now you've got this Jimmy Williams, who hasn't played all that often in the early part of the season, but now he's coming on, and I think I saw some of the Heritage game on tape, and I was very impressed with the way Williams played.
Well, and I'm looking at Jimmy Williams, quarterback, and then you got a wideout in Campbell who drops back, and you throw him a lateral, and he throws another pass, or you get him in the backfield, and you're pitching the ball, and he can run, and then he can pass from there. So that makes Warwick start thinking, we got somebody else we need to watch out for. I don't know if that's going to happen, but that's a possibility.
Well, and the other part about Hampton is they're very deep. They've got a stable of running backs that can go 5 deep in the running back department. So they've got that going, and then of course the defense, which is always a trademark of Hampton. So it's going to be a big game. It's going to be an interesting contest to see. I think Tommy Riemann is about to find out whether or not his team is totally for real or not when they play Hampton tonight.
Well, he said this is Oktoberfest.
That's right. All right, let's go back in time. Bob had a chance to talk with head coach Mike Smith of the Hampton Crabbers.
I got Mike Smith with the head coach of the Crabbers, and Mike, when you come against a team like Warwick, it's a little different than the other teams, or does he present anything different for you guys to get ready for?
Well, I don't think that they present anything different. Anybody you play, you got to defend the field. Of course, I think the quarterback certainly is a very capable runner and an excellent passer. So, but you've seen a lot of that this year. There's a lot of good athletes at quarterback these days, so you got to protect both the pass and the run and play against both of them. So it does increase the liability for the defense, that's for sure.
Right. Well, and you have the same problem for them, and you have quarterbacks that can run and throw the ball also.
Well, I think they probably throw the ball a little better at this time because that boy's been playing quarterback for a while. Marcus, although it's his first year starting, he played some quarterback against us last year, and both our kids have just started this fall. I mean, not in the summer, not in the spring, and not last year, but they're coming along. They're capable. Give them time to throw the ball. They can throw it. We just got to give them a little more time.
Okay, good enough. Well, good luck to you tonight, Coach.
All right, thanks.
Good enough. Stay tuned for tonight's starting lineups.
Back here at Darling Stadium, Tim Cole along with Bob Hintz as both teams have come on the field. Tonight's contest brought to you by Zooms with 6 convenient locations on the peninsula, and in part by Park Lawn Wood Funeral Home, where the manager is Nancy Staten. The officials at the center of the field, as you see, the Hampton Crabbers, of course, the home team tonight. And we touched on it in the game there, the officials. Let me tell you who they are. Richard Rawls is your referee. Tim Brame is the umpire. Frank Herndon is the linesman. Brent Kadish is the line judge. John Barish is the field judge. And the back judge is Bill Ferry. What I started to say was it'll be interesting to see because I'm curious to see how Hampton reacts to this loss last week. I watched the Heritage Hampton game on Channel 47 in Newport News. Let's go down to the field and listen in on the pregame ceremony.
Then we have the Hampton captains, Captain Campbell, Jones, Cohen, and Fonte. Gentlemen, please shake hands. Okay, gentlemen, tonight I'll be using the colors of red and gold. If I call from a cabin from either red or gold, come up to me. I'll give you best optional penalty situations. Make sure you understand what I asked you. I have to take your first answer. If you don't understand what I've told you, please ask me to repeat, and I'll be happy to do that. You gentlemen are the captains of your team. It's up to you guys to keep your other players under control. Good sportsmanship is what we're looking for tonight. Warwick, you're going to call the toss down here? Okay, I have a coin with the heads and the tails. I'll toss it in the air. If I drop it, I'll toss it again. Call it loud enough for the umpire to hear. Here we go.
Tails.
He called it tails. It is a tails. You won a toss. You can defer your choices to second half, kick, receive, or defend the goal in the first half.
Receive.
Warwick has won the toss and elected to receive. Hampton, you will be kicking. Which goal do you want to defend? Defend the open end of the field. Gentlemen, we're looking for a great game. Good sportsmanship is what we're looking for. As long as you do that, we'll let you play as hard and as long as you need to play. You come around behind me. You come around that side. That's good, gentlemen. Warwick has won the toss and elected to receive. Gentlemen, let's have a good game.
Referee Richard Rawls. So Warwick will get the ball. They will be going into a slight breeze. It's blowing maybe 15 miles per hour. The game time temperature is rather muggy in comparison to our last week's game.
And not only a little muggier, but not as windy. Yep. You remember last week it was really windy. Tim, we will pick a player of the game from the Hamptons Crabbers tonight, and that player receive a plaque and a shirt. The plaque comes from an engraving ink located at Tab Square. For all your engraving needs, contact Jim at 596-8850. Dave Buckwald is owner. Shirt comes from Islander Sporting Goods, and they're located in Pocosin. They can meet all your sports needs with a full line of athletic goods, both team and individual, equipment and uniforms. Plus, they have screen printing on premises. Call Dave Chubb at 868-8467. John Roberts is the owner.
Let me just mention, finally, I'll get it over with, the game with Heritage. I think Heritage outplayed Hampton. I think they beat them legitimately and soundly. There was a play toward the end of the game that Carlos Campbell had a first down on the 8-yard line of Heritage, and fumbled the ball. I think it was a good call, and it could have made a big difference, but, woulda, coulda, shoulda. And quite frankly, Hampton's going to have to reestablish themselves. And I don't think Hampton has ever lost back-to-back games to Newport News, but I'd have to go back a little ways to probably the pre-60s to find that one.
I can't remember. I'm sure there's some place back in there, but
if they ever have.
Yeah.
So we'll see. The Crabbers have it teed up. And this game is underway. Kick is fielded at the 15-yard line by Marcus Vick, and he's got some running room up the middle. He gets to the outside, and he's across midfield into Hampton territory at about the 47-yard line.
Usually you don't want to let somebody let the ball bounce, but it did, and he really picked up a nice yardage that time. We'll get the Warwick offense for you.
And there you see them on offense. The end is Tucker. Hill and Massey will be the tackles. Manning and Massey will be the tackles. Tight end is Hill. The guards are Hogan and Lassiter. Magami is the center. The fullback is Brown. Vittorio is the flanker. Terrell Johnson is the running back, tailback, and Marcus Vick is your starting quarterback. From the Hampton 47, out of the shotgun. And this is a lateral. That ball is recovered by the Crabbers as the ball was thrown in the direction of Terrell Johnson, and he had no idea it was coming and hit him in the back. That was clearly a lateral.
It clearly was, and that was Mack on it. Watch this thing. Mac Jones gets the ball, but you're right. They're in the shotgun. They spread out, and it is definitely a lateral. He could have picked it up and ran with it, but it's a smart move. Get the ball. Make sure you got the ball, and that's what he did. Mac Jones.
You nailed it, and let's give him credit for having that presence of mind, because even the big boys on Sunday want to pick that ball up and run with it, and in doing so usually end up not getting the ball.
We got Campbell starting the quarterback. We'll give you the Hampton offense in just a minute.
And this is a handoff for a loss.
Crabbers on offense. We've got Tidwell at center, Perry and Williams at guards, Godwin and Travis at the tackles. The split end is man. The flex back is Fenner. The flanker is Williams. Quarterback is Carlos Campbell. The fullback, Mac Jones. And number 11, Joe Smith, is the running back, and he'll be replaced by number 9, Steve Wyatt, and number 8, Alvin Banks. We'll see a lot of action tonight.
And Jimmy Williams comes out to the near side. He's number 5. Carlos Campbell is over center. Loss of about a yard on that first play. Pitch is fumbled, and the ball is loose. Let's see who came up with it. They say Warwick has got it, so the Crabbers give it right back.
There's an idea of, Tim, what I was talking about.
Exactly.
Don't pick the ball up, go down on it.
And that was a perfect example is Joe Smith. You watch the replay here, he can't get the handle on it. And in an effort to try and pick it up and do something with it, rather than go back to the ball and fall on it, he gave it over to the Warwick Raiders, although I think he probably wouldn't have recovered it anyway. Okay. So the Raiders get it right back. They've got it at their 49. So each team with a turnover here early in the ball game. Haven't played a minute yet, and we've got 2 turnovers.
Nobody back to protect Vic.
Out of the shotgun. He's got some running room now. He decides to throw. He's throwing it downfield, and it's knocked away at the last second. The intended receiver on the play was number 6, Casey Tucker.
Joe Smith is the one that lost the ball, but made a great defensive play there. Give the defense. Here's the replay on this, and you notice the scrambling ability of Marcus Vick. Right there, turnaround, great job. Defensively, we'll give you the Crabbers. There we go. We got Williams and Fenner at guards. That's Turtle Fenner. Nolan Cutler and Chris Perry at the tackles. And Gray and Williams, the linebackers. Jones in the lead. Cornerback Smith and Derek Fenner, and Carlos Campbell is at safety.
Again, Vic wants to pass. This time it is almost completed as the ball was right there for Jason Vittori to catch, but he was nailed and the ball came loose, although actually the ball came loose before, and now we have a penalty flag, and this is holding against the Warwick Raiders. Here's your replay.
Holding.
Vic again with no one in the backfield but himself.
We have a hold against them. Back them up.
And that ball was right on the money, but it was not caught.
I'm sorry, this spot right here, 10
Wouldn't
yards.
have counted anyway.
Second down, otherwise it's third down here.
Third down and 10 or second down and 20.
Well, they'll actually be about 23, Tim, because they'll, from the point of
holding
the
offense. 10-yard penalty, spot a foul, repeat.
About 22.
So they move it back to the 37-yard line. They need to get to the 41.
If you heard that time, Richard Rawls said from the point of the foul.
Dick with company in the backfield this time. On the option, he shuffles
pass.
This is Johnson. Terrell Johnson picks up yardage to about the 46-yard line.
Nice little change there. You put a back in there that looks like he's going to protect, and then you just do a little shuffle pass to him. Watch there, just a little shuffle pass to him once he gets beyond those rushing linemen. Good call. Let the offensive or the defensive pressure work in your favor.
Third down and about 13 now. Exclusively out of the shotgun. And that should be a false start. Looked like the center started to snap the ball, and that motion will get a 5-yard penalty against the Warwick Raiders.
A little bit of nerves on both teams tonight, Tim. Tim, we want to thank Zooms for allowing us to recognize the senior football player on each one of the Hampton teams this year who's demonstrated academic excellence. These players receive plaques at a school board meeting after the season. We want to thank
snap infraction against the center, against Warwick, 5-yard penalty, repeat the down.
We want to thank David Allen and Zooms for the continuing support of WHCS and our student athletes.
You heard Richard Rawls. Eagle Eye detected the illegal snap.
Yes, you did. Boy, I tell you, I got to tell Killen about what you did last week.
And this time the Crabbers step into the neutral zone, and we'll wait to see whether or not they were drawn off. That one I didn't see.
Well, that's because you closed your eyes in admiration of my compliment.
Nope, what I didn't see was anyone pull him off, and that was the problem. Can't see it if it didn't happen.
So, penalty.
Two penalties and right back where they started a second ago.
They're just kind of mirroring each other.
Fumble,
and a penalty. Back to the same third down we had a moment ago.
Looked like we have movement again.
No flags. This is completed at the 48-yard line, still on his feet, and that'll be enough for a first down.
Yeah, it really was. Not very good tackling. They had him back about the 45.
Brendan Hill on the receiving end of Marcus Vick's pass for a first down. Should have had him be short before they got the first down.
They had him hit. Just comes out into the flat right there. You can see he's getting hit right there at the 45, Tim.
Well, he just did an excellent job on second effort.
Wrap him up.
Brendan Hill, a junior, 6'3". Got a first down at the Hampton 39-yard line. Played almost 3 minutes here at Darling Stadium, Hampton and Warwick. This game videotaped on the 6th of October, the year 2000, as Vick on the keeper, and he'll pick up a yard or so.
Running all the way that time, wasn't going to do anything but run right ahead.
Both of these teams have very good defenses. Hampton has only allowed 16 points. That was the 16 points they gave up to Heritage last week. On the other side of the ball, as you look at some of the size of these offensive linemen for Warwick, they've only allowed 22 points while recording 3 shutouts in their 5 contests. Second down and about 8. Vick feeling some pressure. Got away from one tackler, but not another one.
And the one that finally got him was that?
That's Joseph Smith, number 11, I believe.
Yep, I believe you're right, Tim.
So Vick got away from one, but not another, and that's how Hampton comes at you. They come in droves. 42-yard line is where they mark it. Again, a third down. This is third down and 13. Converted the last time.
That was not Joseph Smith, Tim. That was number 12 for him. That was Nolan Cutler. I thought it was Joseph Smith playing cornerback.
I thought it was 11.
Yeah, I did too, but cornerback is way back. It was Nolan Cutler, Tim.
And I even had my glasses on tonight.
Well, there you go. You can't always believe what you see. He's playing tackle and end, doing a good job.
First time not in the shotgun. Got away from one tackler and completes the pass downfield. Still moving down to the 20-yard line. That'll be enough for another Warwick first down.
Well, you got to contain him, and they didn't. They let him buy some time by scrambling. Nice job of finding an open receiver, Marcus Vick. Watch this move right here to get away from a would-be tackler. And, Tim, they had 2 offensive receivers in the same area.
That was Jason Vittori who made the grab. And that's the second consecutive time that Warwick's been looking at a 3rd and 13 and has been able to convert. The sign of a good team is when you convert those long third downs.
And now they've got a mix-up on personnel. They don't have enough people in there. And call the timeout.
They being the Warwick Raiders,
yes.
So the Raiders will call a timeout. That's their first.
I'm going to talk about a little bit, recognize the coaches. The head coach over for the Warwick Raiders, of course, Tommy Riemann. He is assisted by Don Coakley, Curtis West, James Butter Jones, Marcus Williams, Dave Cornwell, Neil Jones, Jay Vittori, Jake Jones, and Dave Coakley. And, of course, for the Hampton Crabbers, Mike Smith is the head coach, assisted by Danny Mitchell, Alvis Mann, Shannon Smith, Brian Gerzak, Tony Carlton, Terry Van, Don Sullivan, Ray Barnes, and Derek Fenner Sr. Next week, Tim, be back here on the 13th.
And we'll
Friday
have
the 13th.
Friday the 13th, Bethel and Phoebus. And then the following week, the 20th, we'll have Kickoff and Hampton. And then our final regular season game will be, and a great game to wrap it up with, Hampton and Phoebus. That'll be on the 27th of October. It's hard to believe this is game number 7. And tonight we're testing our 3-day deodorant pads. It's a little warmer than it was last Friday night. You and I were up here having a little bit of the shivers.
Yeah, in fact, last week you wore long pants.
I did. Not so tonight. First down at the Hampton 20.
Underneath center this time is Vick.
Yep. Johnson, and the ball's popped up in the air, and Hampton says they've got it. They do.
That ball came flying. Now, I don't know who got the hit, but it looked like number 5, Jimmy Williams, got the fumble recovery. I'm not sure, but watch this ball. Somebody really stuck him right here. Boom.
I mean, it popped up in the air like it was squeezed out of him. 20. Yeah, that was the second fumble. Now, actually, The other one, I don't think you can blame Johnson for the first fumble. It hit him in the back.
Well, you're right, but he should have been looking.
Yeah, he never had it. I guess you got to. Who do you credit that fumble with? If he never had it, I guess it would be the quarterback.
Yep.
In any event, Hampton on the defense takes the ball back, and first play after the turnover is for no gain. That was number 8 for the Crabbers. That's Banks. And he got back to the line of scrimmage. That's about it. Maybe picked up a foot. Let's call it 2nd down and 10 for Hampton.
Well, I don't even think they gave him a foot. They moved the down marker right back at where it was at the beginning.
They had given it to him and took it away.
Yeah.
Not an arm or a leg, but just a foot.
Right. Just a foot.
Double wide receivers to the near side out of the I formation. Campbell on the option, and Campbell will have no option as the Raiders are all over him.
Well, he thought about reversing, but Tim, there was somebody right there when he turned around. There was nowhere for him to go.
That will be a loss of a little more than 2, so we'll call it 3rd down and a long dozen. And Hampton looks tenuous. They don't look like they're playing with confidence. They've already fumbled the ball once, and Warwick is kind of making them look like they're tenuous too. Third and long. Warwick has converted twice. Let's see if Hampton can do it. Nope. Draw play, and they were ready for that one as the play never got developed. That was Stephen Wyatt.
Yeah, big number 32, Antone Andrews, the outside linebacker, just plugged up that hole.
Watch this. On the delay, he just was right there, and Stephen Wyatt had no opportunity, and now Carlos Campbell will be in deep punt formation with the ever-dangerous Marcus Vick standing back at the Hampton 44-yard line. Crabbers get the 11th man on the field. 4th down and 12. Standing at the goal line. Campbell's line drive punt is away from Vick, and it takes a Hampton bounce in that it did not roll so he could pick it up. So Warwick will get it just on their side of midfield.
Great field position.
5:06 left in a scoreless first quarter. Warwick 5-0. Hampton 4-1 overall. Each team one less game in the district, as Hampton is 3-1 in the district, and Warwick is tied for first place with Heritage at 4-0. So 2 opportunities to capitalize are not capitalized on by the Crabbers. They had Warwick's had 2 turnovers, Hampton 1. Under the center is Marcus Vick. He'll give to Johnson, and Johnson will get maybe a yard, 2, struggles to get a 3rd yard, and they'll give him 3. That'll be 2nd down and 7 for the Raiders.
And that was a good call by Coach Raymond. The young man carried the ball last time and fumbled, so you're going to give him an opportunity to touch the ball again and not think about it so much. Get that next carry real quick.
2nd and 7 for the Raiders. 4.5 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Vick rolling. Has plenty of time. Looking for a receiver. Can't find someone. And now he'll have to, well, I started to say eat the ball. He got away for a moment, but they eventually got him. And basically no gain on the play. Might have lost a half a yard.
Well, Mac Jones came from the weak side from where he was running, Tim, and did a good job of not just running in hard and not being able to move. So he went in cautiously, lowered his center of gravity, and was able to wrap him up.
And I think that's a good point. With the elusiveness that Vick has, you can't go, helter-skelter after him. You need to remember the basics, which is to not over-rush the man with the ball. Again, kind of a rolling pocket. He's got all day. He's got a man wide open at the 12-yard line. That'll be a touchdown for the Raiders.
Nobody was there. I don't know if somebody blew an assignment, but he had all day to find the receiver.
47-yard touchdown pass from Marcus Vick to Andre McClone.
Carlos, you got deep,
On
damn
the
it.
try, the extra point is Cameron Muro. And we were watching him in the pregame. He was hitting them from 45 yards.
The ball.
Won't need to have that distance here. Left-footed kicker. And his kick is up and plenty good. And flag comes down on the play. Let's see if they roughed the kicker. And that's the call. That will be
What in the hell are you doing?
probably tacked on. Here's the touchdown. Vic had all day. And unlike the previous play when no one was open, McClone was wide open, no one there. In fact, the only fear you had if you're a Warwick Raider was he was so wide open he might lose his concentration and not catch the ball.
That's a good point.
Well, personal foul, roughing the kicker. Hampton to be administered on the kickoff.
So you heard Richard Rawls tell you the extra point is good, and they'll assess a 15-yard penalty. So instead of kicking off from the 40 of Warwick, they'll kick off from the 45 of Hampton. So an auspicious start to the ball game. 2 turnovers by the Raiders, Hampton unable to capitalize, and now the Crabbers, after punting from their own end zone, the Raiders make them pay with a 47-yard pass from Marcus Vick to Andre McClone, and both of these young men just juniors. You know what? I've got the wrong roster. I've been giving the credit to the wrong person. Number 10 is Carlos Weich. I was looking at the wrong roster, Bob. Wake me up. I was giving the Hampton man credit for the touchdown.
Well, Hampton would like to have it that way, but nice job that time. Great protection for Marcus Vick.
Now that I've gotten that straightened out, it's still a 47-yard touchdown pass. This was in and out of the end zone, automatic touchback, so the Crabbers will start from their 20. Can't believe I was doing that. I'm going to get a raise?
Yeah.
Mea culpa, mea culpa. All right, well, now we're going to see what's going to happen here, whether Hampton can respond. The Raiders have struck first here. On the option. To the near side, this is Joseph Smith. He gets by. He's got one man. If he can outrace him, he just got a hand on him, and he tripped him up at the 41-yard line. Check that 36-yard line.
Well, that was Jason Vittori. Finally got a hand on him. But there was one man that might have got a shot at him had he not been tripped up. But a great job. Tim, that was the same play, watch, that they fumbled on.
Yep.
And they lost it on that time. Great blocking right there, but wonderful. A great run.
Right here, you're going to see him just get a hand on his ankle and trip him up at the 36-yard line. But Hampton now in Warwick territory, and they're in business with 3:19 remaining in the first quarter. Double wide receivers to the near side. Mac Jones in the backfield along with Alvin Banks. This is Banks, and Banks looking for a block. He's got the corner. He's got a touchdown.
Oh, my goodness.
36-yard touchdown, and the Crabbers answer the Warwick Raiders.
How's that for an answer, Tim? 2 plays. They went 80 yards in 2 plays. You got to answer. You got to come back. And Hampton went with their strength. They've got some speed and good blocking to the outside. And then they just popped it right up the middle. And a great job by Banks cutting it to the right side and just outrunning any would-be tackler.
Well, he got a great block on that end, too, and that's what sprung him. And hopefully we can pick up that block and give credit on that one. The extra point try is up, and it is good. So Aaron Whitehead tacks on the extra point. Watch the replay here. Watch right there on number 2, and I didn't see who.
That was Jimmy Williams.
Was it Jimmy Williams?
Yes, it was.
Great downfield block. Took 34 seconds for the Crabbers to respond, as you said, Bob, 80 yards on 2 plays. And Hampton has tied the game with 3:01 remaining in the first quarter.
now to get their defense right, which has really been their stalwart in the past, and this season has been doing so good. But there was just a blown assignment that time. I think the safety man was supposed to have the deep part of the field, and he was not there. And I think Coach Smith has let the young man know you have a deep responsibility.
Well, it was ironic. The previous play, Vic had to eat the football after having seemingly 5, 6, 7 seconds to look downfield, and then the very next play, the Crabbers go from perfect coverage to blown coverage. But that's going to happen.
But you see what Tommy Riemann is doing. He is moving the pocket. He is not just having him drop back, straight back. He'll have him straight back. He'll have him roll to the right, roll to the left. You know, just don't give the Crabbers an opportunity to focus in on one thing.
Coming out of the shotgun for most of the time. This one goes over Johnson's head. He'll go back to the 2-yard line to pick it up. And look out. Flag down. A couple of flags.
And that's usually a clipping on that part, but the Crabbers almost outran.
Yes. Again, that goes back to that containment. You've got to make sure you're under control. Watch the kickoff here. Johnson almost broke this one. Of course, the flags would probably have brought it back.
But he picked it up on about the 1 or 2 yard line. But right there, he looks like he's going to get away. But Crabbers did a good job of closing down. But I believe they're going to run him back a little further. Let's see what the call is.
Face mask right here.
How
Penalties
does
go
the
offset.
kicking team
Penalties go
have
offset.
a clipping? Why would you clip if you're the kicking team? No, there was 2 signals, Scotty.
He called face mask. I think he probably got it mixed up. Yeah, face mask against
the
Crabbers.
His first signal was clipping against Hampton.
Let's see if he'll give it.
Clipping against Warwick. We have 5-yard face mask against Hampton. We will re-kick.
All right, so
re-kick.
Yep, and just do it all over.
That really goes good in Warwick's favor.
But his initial indication, and he just like me, I picked up the wrong roster. He pointed in the wrong direction. He said clipping against the kicking team, which would not be something that as a rule would happen. But in any way, the offsetting penalties will cause
they would have
Hampton to kick it over.
He would have had the ball at about, if there would have been no penalties, he'd had the ball at what, about the 25? So let's see what they end up with. Warwick sets up a little different in their kick returns. They have 5 men up front, then 4, then 2 back, where most teams will have at least 3 men back deep, 1 in the middle and 1 on each side. Warwick does it a little different. They only want Marcus Vick and Terrell Johnson to be running that ball back.
2:52 left in the first. 7-all, Hampton and Warwick. Campbell will kick it off again. This time it's taken by Johnson at the 12, up the middle, and he runs right into a Hampton Crabber at about the 28, 29-yard line. So the Warwick Raiders benefit on that return. Pick up a few extra yards on the offsetting penalties. Here's the kickoff again. Looked like Vick and Johnson might get tangled up there for a moment. From the 29.
Crabbers did a good job that time staying in their lanes and their responsibilities, and there was no seam.
In the shotgun, Vick. And Vick is brought down after a short gain. If he even picked up yardage, he may have actually been held for no gain.
And that was number 44, and that's Darylyn Fenner, and they call him Turtle. Number 44, Tim, just a sophomore. Coach is real pleased with a good athlete. 6 foot, 182.
They'll give him almost a yard, so let's call it a second down and a long 9. Ball right shy of the 30. Johnson and Vick side by side. Vick feeling some pressure, got the pass away. It's complete at the 40, 45, 46-yard line, and again, a nice-looking pass. Vick paid the price.
He did that. Nolan Cutler really, nobody touched Cutler. He just went in and just leveled Vic, but he held in, stayed in there at the pocket. Watch the replay. Watch this hit
from the right
Whoa.
side. I mean, he really got him, and it was a good, clean hit. He had every right to do it. But the Raiders pick up the first down at the 46. Again, Vic from the shotgun. Again, Cutler had a beat on him, can't get him. Vic rolling, throws, completes the pass at the 41-yard line. This one completed to Jason Vittori.
Tim, there's a prime example of Nolan Cutler going in hard and not being under control and not being able to get a hand on him. You got to lower that center of gravity a little bit, get yourself in control. Watch the replay. I think, here we go, right here. Now watch, just to make the move and see he couldn't make the turn.
Got some good blocking too, and that's that very difficult pass to throw. He's a right-handed thrower rolling to his left, so he's got to turn his shoulders and square up, and he did a great job. Trips to the right side. Vic shuffle pass, they used it before, it works again. Johnson fumbled the football, but I think one of the Raiders pounced on it. Very close to another first down.
Yeah. That's a great play, that little shuffle pass.
Let's give credit to, it looks like number 55, Melvin Massey, recovered the fumble from Terrell Johnson, and that's the second one he's fumbled, and the third one if you wanted to charge him with that one in the first play of the game. But the Raiders get it back. In fact, they pick up 9 yards on the play. It's 2nd down and 1. Warwick moving the ball. And this is the shovel pass. That should be an incomplete pass.
But did he throw that? Did he pass the ball?
Well, it looked like he was trying to shovel it forward to Johnson, but they ruled no. It was a fumble and a recovery for a first down. I thought he was trying to shovel it to Johnson, but maybe not. See if we get a chance to see it again as the time is running out here on the first quarter. Ball at the Hampton 26-yard line. Warwick may get this play off. 9 seconds and the clock moving.
I don't think they're going to get it off.
Well, and they won't. So the first 12 minutes of action have concluded, and Warwick threatening now with a first down at the Hampton 26-yard line. Our score after one is 7-all. Here's the play. See, it looked to me like he was shoveling it forward to Johnson.
Well, if he did, that's an incomplete pass.
Right, that was my point exactly. But I guess they ruled, and they're much closer to it than we are, that he just lost the handle on it. It looked like a forward pass, much like the shuffle pass from the previous play.
Right.
So after one, 7-all as you look at some of the fans here.
Yeah, there's Willie Brown, Kathleen Brown sitting there right in the center of your screen. And, of course, the principal, Mr. Victory of the Crabbers.
Good name for...
Yeah, it's school board member Butch Harper right next to him.
Definitely a short sleeve shirt crowd tonight.
And shorts.
Short shorts. Well, Bob, what's your impression after one quarter here? First time we've seen Warwick.
Well, I'm impressed with Warwick, but I'm impressed with the way the offense is set up to complement both Johnson and Vic in the background, and he's run more plays from the shotgun formation than what I thought he would.
This time he sends Johnson in motion, and it's a bad snap. And Vic picks it up and trips. He gets tripped as he gets back close to the line of scrimmage. He'll actually lose about 2.
And I was just thinking that is the one thing that'll hurt you in a shotgun formation is bad centers. But he's very lucky he didn't get lose more yardage than he did. He picked it up and picked up about 5 yards. So it's second and about, what is that, 12 instead of about,
12.
yeah, until about 15.
No one in the backfield but Vic this time. Crabbers trying to put some pressure on him. They do. Vic throws, completes the pass. A couple of
gotta-
late flags down. Pass completed inside the 10-yard line to about
We
the
got
6.
holding.
But a couple of flags in the backfield where you'd just know there's going to be a holding call, and that is the call.
You see the strength that Vic has, Tim? I mean, he had man wrapped around him and still made the throw.
See if we can pick up the holding call. You're going to see Vic just, there we go.
Right there it
Right
is.
there.
Linebacker. Where's the linebacker?
He did complete the pass. That was an
Holding against the
amazing
offense.
play
10-yard penalty for
as
the foul, but
Jason
it's down.
Vittori, who's been his favorite receiver so far, made the grab, but all for naught as the penalty will wipe it out.
And that'll be from the 35, so they'll take it back to the 45, Tim. So that's not a 10-yard penalty.
No, that's
that's
a-
much more than 10 yards. Because it was,
They were
was
at
it
the
12
they were at the
yards.
27,
So that was a good 15-yard penalty.
18 to be exact.
Okay.
So second down and a ton. They need to get all the way down to the Hampton 15-yard line. They're at the 45, second and 30 if my math from good old HHS proves me right. Trips to the left. Vic got it away. And this is a flag down right at the spot that the ball was caught by Brendan Hill. So we'll wait and see what the penalty flag is. I think I detected another holdover in that area. It looked like one of the crabbers was tied up like a Christmas package.
Tied up like a Christmas package. Very illustrative.
That's,
Uh-oh, pass interference, offense, and that is a loss of a down too, isn't it?
they were tangled up. I guess you could have called holding, interference, or something.
But
But
it was not the guy that was
it was the other guy.
right. It was not the guy that
receiver.
caught the
Offensive
ball.
pass
It was-
interference. Loss of down.
Yep, you were right.
15-yard penalty. Your spot.
Huge,
Boy.
a big penalty.
Huge penalties. I've got to get my
20,
abacus
30,
out now.
40, 55.
Get my abacus out for this one because they got to go. Let's see, midfield is 10 and then 35 more. Second down and 45. Warwick definitely not headed in their direction.
They lost
didn't
it down.
change
It is third now.
Scoreboard, there we go. Scoreboard caught up. Third down and 45. Out of the gun. The double wide receivers to either side. Vic feels some pressure, and now he'll be sacked back at the 33-yard line. Another loss of 7 more.
Okay, and what made that one work is because not only did you have pressure defensively from both sides, but up the middle, there was nowhere for Vic to go. And he kept a blocker in there, Tim.
Yep.
But watch this, right there, the block, turning back inside. Good job that time by the defensive end on the left-hand side.
So I haven't seen a fourth down quite like this in a while. It's 4th and 52. Not often you get a fourth and 52.
You think he's going to punt?
I think he might. I don't think they have a 4th and 52 in the playbook. Muro, left-footed kicker, huge punt. My gracious, that thing almost went above the lights. Campbell has it at the 23. He's out to the 30, 35, 40, just tripped up at the 40-yard line. And a saving tackle by number 50, Ben Brown.
Well, I tell you, what a great job that time of catching the ball and then finding the open area.
He almost
great tackle,
went.
but you're right.
Watch this punt. I mean, this thing had hang time of the NFL variety.
Watch this move right here. Take it right up the alley.
And right there, he just turned around. Ben Brown did. He was being blocked, and he said, wait a minute, I got to get my hand on this guy. You know, I think other than that, Campbell was headed for the end zone. All right, the Crabbers have it with good field position at their 42. Campbell on the option, pitches it back. This is Stephen Wyatt, and Wyatt is in Warwick territory at the 47-yard line. So a nice play by the Crabbers results in a first down.
And I tell you, I'm impressed with Campbell, Tim. He is pitching that ball as he's being hit. So he's not pitching it early. He's making sure that that pitch man is there before he pitches it and is taking a hit.
47-yard line of the Raiders. Campbell, left side for Banks, and Banks is across the 45. Pickup of about 2.
I tell you, it's hard to figure out who it is, Banks or or Wyatt, because 8 and 9, they look so close to being the same.
Play coming in from the sideline. And again, we had talked about Jimmy Williams more than likely playing a good part of this game at quarterback, but so far it's been Carlos Campbell. Double wides to the top of your screen. Campbell, quick pass. He's got it for Fenner. Derek Fenner has the ball close to the Warwick 40-yard line. That'll be 3rd down and about 3. So the first time tonight that Derek Fenner has been on the receiving end of a pass.
Well, that's a tough pass to throw, Tim. You're throwing that all the way across the field, and Fenner had to go up in the air to catch the ball, and then come down and picked up some pretty positive yardage, but they still got a 3rd and long.
And the hard part about that is the quarterback doesn't have time to drop back and set his feet and look at it. It's a quick boom, and if it works, it looks great. But it's a very difficult pass. Good point. 3rd down and about 4. And we've got Raiders in the neutral zone. The only question will be, were they drawn off or did they
think that was vintage Mike Smith there. That was the call.
Encroachment is the call. So the Crabbers get the cheap first down. Don't even have to run the play. That'll be enough for first. It'll be marked just inside the 36-yard line of Warwick. What's happening?
Big man out there, Ron Baton. Got to talk about our crew.
What's up?
What's up? Oh Lord, are you too?
Oh yeah, I got one that's got the grannies in it. I gotta send that one to you. 1st and 10 at the 36. Crabbers have not led in this game. Campbell on a quarterback draw, and that one didn't do much. That was gain of maybe a yard, a little more than a yard.
We'll talk about our
crew. We talk about them all the time, but let's
cable technicians.
There you go.
Era Towns and Asa Carroll, who, by the way, verbal commitment to full scholarship to Seton Hall. Congratulations, Asia. On instant replay, Bev Penn. On the cameras, Nathaniel Braxton, Susan
who's
Bauer.
on instant replay?
Bev Penn.
Bev Penn. Okay, just want to make sure we had
cameras, Nathaniel Braxton, Susan Bowers, Ron Baton, engineer Don Rouse. I hadn't seen him tonight. Graphics and audio, Andy Foley, and the director, big guy, Scotty Bowers.
Campbell got away from one, but not another, as the Raiders sack him all the way back to the 43-yard line.
And there were 4 defenders for 3 receivers, so a lot of pressure that time from that front 7.
He got away from the first guy, but he slowed him down just enough. And Campbell, even with his quickness, couldn't get away from the rush. So it's now 3rd and long, 3rd down and about 17. Warwick's played well on defense. Double wide to the near side on the option. Looking for the block. He's got it. He's across the 30 to about the 28-yard line, but that'll be short of the first down. So
but Tim,
the
that's
Crabbers
close
will
enough that you either at this point you go for it.
The Crabbers will have a decision to make. Watch the replay here on the option. Good block right there. So they need to get to the 25.
Who was that carried that ball?
I wasn't quite sure. I think that was Davis that got that one, but it happened real quickly, and I couldn't pick up. But, you said number 9. Okay, that was
Stephen Wyatt.
Then. Stephen Wyatt. Let me give credit to the right person here. And now Carlos Campbell will call for a timeout.
Well, he tried to draw him offside again, I think, Tim.
Yeah, you can't rely on that every time, but
well, you can try it. If it don't work, call timeout and let's say, okay, we got 4th and 3. Let's see what we can do.
5:09 left here in the first quarter. If you joined us late, the Raiders got on the board first with a 47-yard pass from Marcus Vick to Carlos Weich. And the extra point was good by Cameron Muro. And then the Crabbers retaliated. 2-play drive, 80 yards, capped by a 36-yard run by Alvin Banks. And their own Aaron Whitehead tacked on the extra point. And that's where we stand right now, 7-all. With 5:09 to go in the first half.
I tell you, the Crabbers have looked real good on that option play. That is the one that has picked up the bulk of the yardage tonight.
I want to remind you that there will be a halftime performance by the Hampton High School Marching Band, and that can be seen at the conclusion of the ball game. Halftime ceremonies. And by the way, the band is selling
delicious
grapefruits and all kinds of different fruits to raise money for the band.
I think it's grapefruit and oranges.
If they call you, dig deep.
And if you want some, contact any band member.
That's right. 4th down. Campbell will not get. Well, wait a minute. He's still going, but they hadn't blown the whistle. Now they do. Started to say it was clear he hadn't gotten it, but they didn't blow the whistle right away. I guess gave him the benefit of the doubt in case he got away. That's how fumbles happen, too. Here's the replay. I'm kind of confused by that play.
Right here's the pitch man, Tim. He's wide open. That's the man you wanted to give the ball to.
The word tenuous comes back to me when I see that play. So the Raiders defense, and they've got a good one. They've stiffened and held here, so now they'll take over at their own 28-yard line. Campbell picked up 2, but he needed 4. Each team has 2 timeouts remaining here in the first half.
Underneath the center this time.
Yep. And this is Johnson, and he burst into the open. He's out across the 40 to the 41-yard line. That'll be a gain of 12 and a first down.
Campbell had to come up from the safety to make the tackle. Watch this play. Nice, just a handoff right off tackle. Good block right there at the point of contact.
Johnson had a great game against Woodside for these Raiders. Had 3 touchdowns in that game. Warwick rather won that game handily, 42-14. This is Johnson, and Johnson is close to another first down. He would have one at the Hampton 49.
Well, I tell you, once they've gone out of the shotgun formation into the normal quarterback under the center and running a couple of plays, one to the right and one to the left, they found some weaknesses in there against the Crabbers.
Gain of about 11 on that play. So another set of downs with 4:25 left in the first half. Warwick 7, Hampton 7.
In I formation.
This game has huge implications. If Hampton doesn't win this game, 2 losses might be enough to cause serious postseason problems.
Nice pass that time and a good fake on the running play. Bought Vic a lot of time. Hit the receiver in the hands, but just couldn't hold on to it.
Jason Vittori, who's been very reliable tonight, as you said, got hit in the hands and dropped the ball. So that stops the clock with 4:09 remaining. Ball is marked just on the Hampton side of midfield at the 49. Carlos White, who caught the touchdown pass, is lined up to the near side. Different type of formation. This time they're out of the eye. Pressure on Vic. He got away from one Hampton tackler. Another one. Now he reverses field. Who does he look like? He got a man wide open again. Blown coverage, far side. And it's a foot race. Touchdown.
It's not blown coverage. What you did.
Got a flag, however. Flag back right around the line of scrimmage. Ineligible.
Downfield, Tim. But what happens is you see him running around and the defensive backs come up to help out and lose the man that they're guarding.
But I call that blown coverage because you can't leave your man. Until he's down and the whistle's blown, you can't leave your man. Look at Vic. I mean, he is just incredibly elusive. Wide open, but all for naught. And what happens in those cases, and I know most of our fans are very knowledgeable, they see Vic running around and the linemen go downfield to try and block. And then when he eventually throws the ball, they're downfield, and that's why the penalty.
Did Richard Rawls give that call? I never heard it.
He did.
I was too busy doing something else.
46-yard line now, so instead of a touchdown, and now we've got a late flag come down. Let's see, did we have too many on the field? I think we might have. All right, we're going to return to Darling Stadium with the conclusion of the first half after this brief timeout. All right, a 5-yard assessment against the Crabbers for too many men on the field. Bob and I were asking the question. It's been a good question to ask Mick McCullough, is how do you have too many men on the field if the ball hasn't been snapped? Well, that was the call. Vick standing in, throws over the middle, and no flags down. Good tight coverage on Vittori. And that was number 32 for the Crabbers. Lawrence Callis did a nice job of busting up that play. And hear the boos from all the way across the side of the other side of the field.
Look at the field. I mean, look at the fans on the other side. I've never seen that many fans for a Warwick game here at Darling Stadium in I don't know how long.
Well, winning causes that.
Yeah, tell you what.
Look at them. They have got a wonderful crowd on hand, and the Hampton side, as usual, is basically full. So a good crowd, not quite as large as the one at Todd Stadium last Saturday night for this Heritage Hampton game, but this one has equal billing. Looking good, wide open, and Vittori, if he had it, he fumbled it. They say he did catch it. This is Derek Fenner, and Fenner returns it to the 35-yard line.
Well, that's good tackling by the Crabbers.
And they say that he had the ball long enough to call possession. It was pretty bang, but they didn't hesitate. Watch the replay here. You be the judge. Boom.
Oh, yeah, he took a couple steps, Tim.
Yep. Happened very quickly.
The man who caught the ball? I think it was 4.
Number 4, yeah, it was
Vittori.
Vittori that caught the ball and then actually caught it and fumbled it.
And then Derek Fenner, number 2 for the Crabbers, picked it up and returned it to the 35. That's the, unofficially, I have it as the 3rd turnover. The Warwick Raiders have fumbled it 5 times, and lost 3 of them now. No gain on that play. Alvin Banks brings the play in from Mike Smith. Again, Carlos Campbell has been the quarterback throughout the entire first half. Word was we might see Jimmy Williams. Looked like we had motion. That play will not count. They'll go ahead and run it. But the flanker on the far side for the Crabbers moved before the snap of the ball. He flinched.
Yep, good call. Good call. You got it.
So that will wipe out the gain on the play with 2:51 left in the first half.
Illegal shift against Hampton, 5-yard penalty, repeat the down.
In some senses, it's been fairly sloppy for the 6th, 7th game of the season. The 6th game, both teams have not handled the ball well. But don't forget, they're high school kids.
That's correct.
Mark it at the 40. 2nd down and 15. Campbell on play action, something he hasn't done much of. Got a man wide open at the 33-yard line. Mac Jones, the big truck, is down, and he is driven out of bounds at the 11-yard line. But that'll be a 1st down for the Crabbers.
Great job by Mac Jones going into the line on the fake, Tim, and going out in the flat. Nobody there.
Watch this replay.
Watch the fake to Mac Jones right there, right up the middle, and he just kind of goes through and nobody's there. Oh, I forgot all about him.
Actually, the play action was to Wyatt, number 9, but Mac Jones just slipped out there and was wide open, and Campbell had enough time this time. So he did. That's really about the first time he's used play action to kind of hold the linebackers. And now a timeout has been called by the Warwick Raiders. That's going to leave them 1 remaining timeout.
Well, we got 2:23, Tim, and the Crabbers are in a position where they can go down and get a 1st down without scoring. What an exciting game! A lot of action tonight.
And the wind starts to whip up.
Oh, we got a little bit of maybe front coming in, you suppose?
Supposed to get.
We was up here one other night. It turned about 15, 20 degrees in about a second.
There goes your papers off to the top shelf.
Gotta go get them.
Yep. Breeze picking up here, coming across the field, so I'm not sure what impact this will have. First down at the Warwick 11-yard line. 2:23 left in the half. Hampton 7, Warwick 7. Campbell gives to Mac Jones, and the big Mac truck is to the 6. He picks up 5. Kind of batten down the hatches here.
Feels good, though, doesn't it?
It does feel good. You can feel the cooler air. High on Sunday supposed to be 55. So,
and they're talking Monday night, maybe inland getting a little frost.
So you're up to date with the weather forecast.
I'm just repeating what I hear.
I'm saying
like a parrot.
The fans are getting a little extra information here. So. Second down and 5. And this is Banks, and he is in.
Got it in. Nice job that time, Alvin Banks.
So Banks records his second touchdown of the game. This is a 6-yarder.
Tim, don't you think that they were looking for the option to go outside and 2 plays up the middle, one with the Big Mac truck, and then Alvin Banks off the right side.
Mixing them up, as you know they will. Whitehead on to try to make it 14, and he pulls it to the left, but it's just inside the upright.
Hey, don't have to be Purdy to be good.
No, sir. That'll look just like it was right through the middle of the uprights on the scoreboard. Here's the replay of the touchdown from Banks. Banks just bowled his way in there.
Bang, bang, Banks is the Scottish man set.
Oh, 36 on the first.
So a 36-yarder and a 6-yarder for Alvin Banks. .138 on the clock here in the first half. There you see the fans, some of them starting to get the parkas and the jackets out as the temperature is starting to drop, making it a little more comfortable for the fans. Was rather mentioned the first of the game, it was rather muggy.
This is going to make a big difference in the second half, Tim, on kicking off. The Crabbers will receive, and that means that young man that kicks off for the Raiders with that wind to his back will probably put it out of the end zone.
Well, that depends, because right now the wind seems to be coming
almost across the field. Yeah.
We'll see how that works out. Probably hear the wind in our microphones here as the breezes have picked up. Carlos Campbell will kick it off. Johnson and Vick back deep. And this will be taken by one of the up men at the 19-yard line. He fumbled it briefly, but got it back, and now he's all the way out to the 32 or 33-yard line. That was number 32.
No, 23.
23. I'm dyslexic on top of everything else. Cedric Sherrod. So Sherrod returns it to the 32-yard line where the Raiders will set up. They have just 1 timeout remaining. The Crabbers have 2.
You say you were a little dyslexic.
I'm dyslexic.
Oh, and if you were insomniac and you were agnostic, you would stay awake tonight wondering if there really is a dog.
I remember that one. That was a good one. You pulled that one right out. Looking for a cue card. You
didn't need one.
I like that.
I don't know where it came from. Probably from Ruth.
Dyslexic, insomniac, agnostic. Right?
Yes.
Okay. And the Raiders are going to be penalized for taking too much time.
Well, I don't know what's happened to that wind, but it's got to be gusting 20, 25 mile an hour.
Every bit of
Head
that.
ball foul, delay a game, gets the offense, 5-yard penalty, repeat down.
And even if it isn't into your face, the fact that it's swirling and gusting like this will make the passing game that much more difficult.
Absolutely.
And I think that impacts the Raiders more than it does Hampton at this point. Hampton's been pretty content not to pass the ball much.
Well, when they did, they picked their moment.
Yep.
Hey, fake a shot!
1st and 15.
Straight pass! Straight pass! Straight pass!
They're playing the pass.
Hold it!
Vick completes it to Weich, and Weich loses yardage coming back to try and evade a tackler, and actually had about 2 or 3 more yards.
And we got a penalty back, and I thought there was holding that time.
Yes, sir!
Against number 61 for the Crabbers, Tim. That's Chris Green, and he watch him going, see him at the top of the screen, and he was, he was tackled.
Holding against the offense. Half the distance to the goal line from the spot of foul. Repeat it down.
All right, so referee Richard Rawls informs you half the distance. They move it back to the 10-yard line, so it's now 1st and 32 as they need to get to the 42 for first down. Clock moving with 1:14 to go. Good protection for Vic. He stands in there and completes the pass to number 4, Vittorio, at the 25-yard line. So he picks up about 15 on the play.
But Hampton's in almost a prevent. They're not going to let anybody get behind them.
Big blocking line for the Raiders. They got some meat on that.
Beef on there, don't they?
They do. Vic again has plenty of time. Now rolls to his left, decides to run with the ball, and picks up a few yards to the 29-yard line, but that'll be well short of the first.
What a job by Mac Jones that time, fighting off the blocker, Tim, and turning Vic inside and then making the tackle. Great job of Mac Jones.
A great job by Marcus Vick to roll around and get himself available to pass the ball. Again, Vick back to pass. Has all day, doesn't have anybody open. Now he throws on the sideline, and it's incomplete. And that'll bring up 4th down, stopping the clock with 8 seconds remaining. So at least one more play.
You might want to go for the block here. Let's see what the Crabbers do.
So the Raiders will have to do something, and there seems to be some question as to what that's going to be. They're looking to the sideline. I don't see the punter on, Cameron Muro. And they've got Vic out there with the regular offense. So an interesting situation here. 4th down and 13.
Well, with 8 seconds,
and they take a knee.
Well, wait a minute.
That leaves 5 seconds on the clock, so the Crabbers get the ball. What in the world are they thinking?
Yeah, I don't understand that.
What in the world would they be thinking? Hampton has 2 timeouts remaining, and now they've got the ball with at least one opportunity to go into the end zone. That's got to be a coaching snafu on the far sideline.
Well,
I'm looking at 4th and 13.
I think what Riemann wanted him to do, wanted Vic to run around until the clock went out, but he went on a knee, and it's not like the pros, but on a knee. In high school, it'll run unless it was 4th down. The clock would have continued to run, but if it's 4th down, the clock's going to stop.
So the Crabbers given a golden opportunity here with time for at least one play. I don't think I've ever seen something like this. You look across the field, that is Coach Tommy Riemann.
Yeah, I think Tommy, what he wanted Marcus Vick to do was to run around until the clock was, virtually at 0, and then throw the ball or take a knee or whatever. But he did not want the Crabbers to get a shot from the 28-yard line?
Yeah. So Hampton with a chance to throw in the end zone, and the half cannot end on a defensive penalty. So if you get a flag or you can get them in the end zone, you've got a golden opportunity here. So Hampton given a gift here, potentially. In motion to the near side. That's Wyatt. Rolling pocket, throw it in the end zone. Got a man there, and he caught it, but he was out of bounds. Good call by the official right on the end line, and that is the last play of the first half.
But
just overthrew him a bit.
You're right, just a little too far.
Derek Fenner made an incredible catch, but he was out of bounds. So the Warwick Raiders
dodged a bullet.
Dodged a big bullet. Watch the replay here. And this ball just a little overthrown. If he had put a little less air underneath it.
And all you'd have to do is get 1 foot in bounds. You don't have to get both of them in like in the pros.
All right, that's going to do it. So at halftime, our score is Hampton 14 and Warwick 7. We'll return to Darling Stadium for the 3rd quarter of action after this brief timeout. Back here at Darling Stadium, as you see the Raiders, top of your screen, just coming onto the field at halftime. The Crabbers have been out for a couple of moments. Odd finish to that first half, Bob, in that there clearly was a confusion on there's no way that Warwick want to take a knee and give the ball to Hampton with 5 seconds.
Well, and was talking to one of the clock operators, and they're right next to where I watched the replay on it, but the last pass there, a nice catch by Derek Fenner, but he wasn't in bounds. But Tim, the coaching staff up here was yelling, "Run a play, run a play, run a play." Well, you run a play and you're down, the clock stops on the exchange of balls. So very unusual.
Could have been costly. Fortunately for Warwick, it didn't work out that way, but an odd conclusion to what was a good, entertaining first half. Speaking of the first half.
You got some stats?
I got some stats. Here we go. Warwick Raiders, they carried the ball 16 times for 39 yards. And Terrell Johnson was the leading ball carrier, 6 carries for 36. 1 TD, and that was, of course, the pass to Carlos Weich, and that came from 47 yards out. For the passing department, Marcus Vick, 6 of 12, 149 yards, and, of course, 47 of those on the touchdown. And the leading receiver was Jason Vittori, who's just done a great job of getting open. He had 5 catches for 67 yards, 9 first downs. They were penalized 8 times for 57 yards. Now for the Crabbers, yeah, they rushed the ball considerably more. They had 144 yards rushing on 15 carries. Joe Smith, 2 carries for 54 yards to be the leading rusher. Just 5 attempts to pass the ball, and 2 of those were complete for a total of 33 yards from Carlos Campbell. Crabbers fumbled the ball twice and lost 1 of them. They had 6 first downs, and they were penalized 5 times for 35 yards.
Well, the Crabbers well received, Tim, and
I wanted to I wasn't sure of this. Bob had on here, and I couldn't read the word in front of it, but it was 7 fumbles in the first half for the Raiders. They lost 3.
Wow, 7 fumbles.
7.
And a couple of those were rather spectacular, especially that one that went flying up in the air.
And remember this down the road, a touchdown that was called back by the Raiders that could have tied the score at halftime, but they had a man downfield on what we both saw to be a good call. But
ineligible downfield, yeah.
So the Crabbers dodged the bullet there. They lead by 7. We are set to go as Cameron Muro will tee it up. Has a great leg, but he's going to be working. Let's see how the wind is blowing. Looks like he might have the wind at his back. We had a few sprinkles at halftime, but hopefully they'll hold off until the end of the game. This one is a low liner, 1 hop taken at the 10-yard line. And the wedge, if you will, all the way out to the 32-yard line. I believe that was number 11.
Number 12.
Was it 12? I'm having a hard time. That was Nolan Cutler, and not 12, not 11, but 12.
I'm pretty sure that's who he was. One of the last ones getting up, so that's what I'm looking at. So
I couldn't see his number when he fielded the ball.
But see, it was, I don't know, it may have been Jimmy Williams.
No, it would have been Joseph Smith.
I'm sorry, number 11, but yeah, Joseph Smith.
All
Jimmy's
right.
number 5.
In any event, they have the ball at the 32-yard line, leading by a touchdown.
You're going to have to push hard to get that thing to open up.
I'll see.
Well, you should. I opened it up in the night.
Right. Campbell over the middle, completes it at the 45, still on his feet. This is Derek Fenner to the 40 of Warwick.
What a nice run by Derek Fenner.
That's good. Derek Fenner picked up 10 or 15 yards after the catch. That's that yak yardage that you talk about.
Yeah, but he was hit but did not go down. The tackler just did not wrap up. A lot of time that time right there.
Yep. 5, 10,
and then the guy
more.
that missed the tackle ended up coming back and helping, assisted on the final takedown.
15 yards after the catch. After the contact, I should say, from the 40. This is Smith. No, it's play action. Good job of faking out me as Fenner has it at the 26-yard line. That'll be another first down.
And that was great ball movement and hiding the ball by Campbell, because Tim thought he was running the ball. Somebody.
I thought Joseph Smith had gotten it. And Campbell now right on target, and when you know it, the wind is absolutely blowing up a storm, and he's pinpointing his passes. So much for the effect of the wind on the game. First down at the 27. Split backfield. This is Alvin Banks, and Banks is down to the 21, so he'll pick up about 5.
You come out, you throw 2 good passes, it's going to open up the run.
Hey, you know, we're talking about opening up and stuff. Zooms, they're open in Newport News now. They're up there in Hidenwood near
I
me.
heard just a rumor that when you walk in, it's Tim.
Well,
and they start the drinks and they're kicking the chicken and taking the wedges and
kicking the chicken.
I mean, they kick that chicken out the door. Let's get some good chicken in there for Tim.
Well,
they loved you up there.
I'm going to be buying a lot of Citgo gas, but I don't know about any fried chicken here. I'm going to have to. Doctors told me to lose a little bit of weight and cut down.
Well, just take the
cholesterol.
skin off and eat the meat.
There you go.
There you go.
Ball is marked at the 16. It's going to be a first down for the Crabbers, so they got it by about a half a yard or maybe a yard.
Oh, we had a couple of characters up here at halftime. I didn't get to talk to you much about them, but Billy Rand and Conky Sorrells, and they play golf all the time out at the Woodlands, and they always like to give me a hard time. They had to give them up here tonight and give me a hard time again.
Well, who's that other guy up here with the?
Brent Musgrove come up. We appreciate Brent stopping by and talking to us. It's always good to see him. And
ball carrier this time for the Crabbers is Darylyn Fenner.
And they call him Turtle.
Turtle Fenner. Sure, there's a story behind that.
And I don't want to. Maybe he's as hard as the shell of a turtle.
Maybe that's what it is. Picked up about 4. There you see Campbell coming back in a long ways to the far side of the hash marks, getting the play from the sideline. Me, I'd just be exhausted bringing the play in. Crabbers threatening on the pitch. Nice cut by Wyatt.
We got a flag, Tim.
Got a flag right at the line of scrimmage. That's your only flag call of the game now.
I
get one per game.
Jeez. And it wasn't a good one, was it?
Oh, it was a good one. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And unfortunately for Hampton, it's going to be against them, so they'll be backed up. Watch this nice pitch to Stephen Wyatt. Or check that. That's Banks. And you and I got the same problem with that 8 and 9.
I'd tell you.
But it's all for naught as they'll mark off a penalty for illegal motion against Hampton.
It'll still be second down, but it'll be about 11.
Illegal motion against the offense, 5-yard penalty, repeat the down.
So the ball is moved back to the 17-yard line. Basically back to the original line of scrimmage, actually 1 yard further back. So it's second down and 11.
And Alvin Banks, number 9, comes in, and
number 8.
Wyatt comes in.
Yeah, the
Banks
number
goes
right.
off.
There you go. Well, at least we know now if one of those two is running the ball, it's got to be Wyatt because Banks is on the sideline. This is Wyatt, Stephen Wyatt. Good speed. He's inside the 10 to about the 9-yard line.
This will make a statement if Hampton can take the ball and drive down and score and get a 2-touchdown lead.
We got a timeout for an injured player.
Looks like one of the Crabbers.
Can't quite make out his number. At 72. Okay, so that is one of the linemen.
Vernon Godwin.
Vernon Godwin, senior 6'2", big boy at 266. Hopefully
Plays
he's
one of the
only
tackles.
Hopefully he's just shaken up.
Sometime when you're a big guy like that and you're going down and you're leading the interference and you're making blocks and people fall on your legs from behind and from the side and can really cause an injury. Let's hope it's nothing serious. Just they've helped him up and good. He's coming off on his own. Great job.
Good. Had the wind knocked out.
Nice hand from the home folks.
Great crowd on hand. We are so happy to see all these fans out here. The weather threatening hasn't kept the crowd down. This was a big game for both teams. This is a huge game for Hampton, as we've mentioned. A second loss would seriously jeopardize their opportunities for postseason play. But they're playing like a team that knows that, and they lead by 7 and threatening now the ball inside the 10. Third down and about 3. Campbell straight up the middle.
And they were calling the blitz that time. The Raiders were, Tim. They were coming right up the middle. And it'll bring up a 4th down.
That was Mac Jones on the call, and he did not get the first. It's 4th down and 2.
Picked up about a yard.
So Campbell, along with Banks, will bring the play in.
Well, I look for him to go on the option to this side. So let's see. You spread it out and pick up a couple yards.
7.5 minutes left in the third quarter. A pivotal, can't talk tonight, point in the game. That's you got the call. And he has got the first down. He's inside the 5 to the 4.
And that was a nice cut after he catches the ball. I'm very impressed with the way he runs the ball.
He is Alvin Banks. Watch the replay. Pivotal is what I'm trying to say.
Right here, nice cut. Follows his block and excellent, doesn't he?
And that's what I wanted to say. You know, you don't see that a lot in high school. The good ones always do it, and he really reads his blocks very well. This is 1st and goal at the 4. Give it to Banks again, and he struggles to the 1. He will not get in, and it'll be 2nd down and goal. .6:45, the clock moving here in the third quarter. Ball is marked at the 1-yard line. So Joseph Smith will bring the play in this time, and Banks will come out. That's that nice deep backfield we were talking about. You got Stephen Wyatt, you got Joe Smith, you've got Alvin Banks, these young men. You got Mac Jones, you got Darylin Fenner. So he can keep going to fresh backs. And this is a drive into the end zone, touchdown from 1 yard out.
And that was was that 31? Solomon Bassett?
It was Joe Smith that scored the touchdown, number 11.
No, it wasn't. That was number 31 coming right for you.
Well, you're the new Eagle guy.
I will bet on it. He's getting heads patted on.
I'm glad you detected it, because I thought it was 11, not 31. Even got my good glasses tonight. Extra point try is no good, so that could be a problem down the road.
Or not.
All right, watch the replay here. And Solomon Bassett, is that who you said? 31.
31. Got that number change from Coach Mann, and he says he was going to get some carries tonight.
Well, he got a very important carry, because
did.
that one was truly could have been the turning point in the game. Now down 2 touchdowns. The Raiders are going to be tested, and of course we've already talked about how stingy the Hampton defense is until they gave up the 16 points to a Heritage team that averaged almost 60 points a game.
And really, Zooms has given an award, Tim, to the senior football player on each of the Hampton teams this year who has demonstrated academic excellence. These players will receive a plaque at a school board meeting after the season. We want to thank David Allen and Zooms for the continued support of WHCS and our student athletes. Thank you, Zooms. Not only do you feed Tim and feed his car, but you also recognize our student athletes.
The latter being the most important. All right, Carlos Campbell. And now the ball is blown off of the tee, so he'll reset it. 6:16 left in the third quarter. Hampton 20 and Warwick 7. Tim Cole, Bob Hintz, Bob Killen, and the Channel 46 crew. Hope you're enjoying this game. It's been a good one. We've got some great ones coming down the way, too. Next Friday night, we'll be back here. We've got the Kickoff Bethel game, I believe it is, isn't it? Phoebus Bethel.
Phoebus Bethel.
Far sideline. Got Phoebus and Bethel, then Kickoff and Hampton, and then Hampton and Phoebus. So we've got nothing but Hampton schools coming up here for the final 3 weeks of the regular season. That was Cedric Sherrard, number 23, who returned the kick out to the 29-yard line. What's Danny's kid wearing now? He's got a Miami Dolphin shirt on. Is that what he's got?
Number one. He gets as much workout as any other player out there. He just doesn't get hit, but he does run a lot of running and catching and throwing.
From their 29, Vick right side for Terrell Johnson, and Johnson picks up a couple. He's out to the 32-yard line. Let's give him 3. Halfway through the third quarter. Joined us late. The Raiders scored first on a 47-yard pass from Marcus Vick to Carlos Weich, and they tacked on the extra point with 3:35 to go in the first half, then first period rather, and then just 34 seconds later, Hampton retaliated on an 80-yard drive, 2 plays, capped by a 36-yard run by Alvin Banks. Now Banks added another 6-yard run at halftime to make it 14-7. And now Hampton up 20-7 on the Solomon Bassett 1-yard run as the Raiders stick to the ground, have the ball out to the 34-yard line.
Very surprised that they're not passing the ball, but it sure is. We have a shot of Scotty's uncle, Bobby Walton, is one of the working the chain on the far side.
So Scotty's uncle works on the chain gang, is that right?
Oh, well, I can't see him. He's behind the down marker.
Working on the chain gang, right? Got a flag down. There he is.
That's a good shot of him. The wind gonna blow him away, but better hang on to that down marker.
Wind is wreaking havoc here. He's got rugs blowing in the breeze. And now we got an offsides encroachment against Hampton. So that will be very close to enough for the first down. I think it's going to give them a first down. They're going to mark off 5. Well, it's going to be real close.
Down. I don't think it's going to be on it, but they're a lot better off than they were a minute ago.
Yeah, 3rd and less than a yard. So encroachment against Hampton. Out of the shotgun. Vick needing just less than a yard. So interesting call with 3rd and 1. Vick got away from one, got away from another.
Man,
he's got the first down.
They had him and he got away. Great job by Vick.
I tell you, he reminds me a lot of his brother. He also reminds me of a guy named R.C. that used to play for Hampton. They have that same fluidness to the way they run. He just doesn't give anyone a good shot at him. Watch the replay here. He just...
Well, they did what they needed to. They got him out of the pocket and came up right there and turned him back inside, but just elusive enough that he missed it, because that was a big play.
That was 3rd down and less than a yard, and they were in the shotgun. I heard one of the coaches up here talking about why are we in a shotgun?
Well, that was
the penalty had brought them 5 yards further up.
Well, they kept us. They kept us. Excuse me, Tim. They kept the same play that they had called prior to the penalty.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is they didn't change the play they had.
Yeah.
Brendan Hill, the intended receiver, but it was over his head. Almost picked off by Hampton. So it's 2nd down and 10. The ball at the 46-yard line after the Marcus Vick scramble for the first down. And the way these guys run, the way Marcus Vick, Michael Vick, and Ronald Curry all run with that.
And don't forget young man by the name of Marcus Higgins.
Marcus Higgins, yep. You may be able to hear the wind in our microphones here as it's blowing directly across the field and about to blow us right out of the booth here. Vick out of the gun. Feels some pressure, and again they overrun him. Darylin Fenner had a beat on him, and he lunges forward for yardage to the 30. Check that, the 48-yard line of Hampton. They need to get to the 44, so it'll bring up a 3rd down and about 4. Mark it right between the 38 and the 39.
He's scary every time he goes back. You're looking for, will he make the run, or will he find somebody wide open downfield?
Would you watch the game last week with his older brother Michael in Boston College? I mean, you know, they had him and he's done that so many times. He gives you that limp leg thing. And now you got a Hampton, excuse me, that's a Warwick Raider down on the field. So a player shaken up on the last play. And that stops the clock with 3:34 remaining here in the third quarter.
Tim, I do want to remind the fans that we will pick a player of the game from the Hampton Crabbers this evening, and that player receive a plaque from Engraving Inc. They're located at Tabb Square, and the shirt comes from the Islander Sporting Goods, and they're located in Poquoson. We want to thank Dave Buckwalter of Engraving Inc. and John Roberts of Islander Sporting Goods for allowing us to recognize the players of the game in the city of Hampton.
So the young man who was injured on the play, 57, Terrence Hogan, has been helped to the sidelines, and hopefully he'll be able to return. 3rd down and about 4. Vick out of the gun. Throws, got a man wide open at the 40. He's got the first down to the Hampton 34-yard line.
He went down and hooked right into the an open area there, and Vick just drilled the pass.
And that was the ever-present Vittoria, Jason Vittori. He's been the go-to man all night long. It's either been he or Brendan Hill who have been the favorite receivers.
So Jason's a senior. He's 6'3", 180. Got some good height. Runs excellent routes.
Bob has a stat for you. I don't know if you wanted to. 34-yard line.
What kind of stat is that?
Complete the pass. That'll be marked at the 26. That time, a new receiver, number 22. That was Lonnie Stack. Number 22 makes the grab for the Raiders, and it's 2nd down after the 8-yard gain. Again, Vick has plenty of time, and it was almost picked off over the head of Jason Vittori.
It was not only over his head, Tim, it was a little bit behind him.
Yeah, almost picked off by Carlos Campbell, who was playing just behind the intended receiver. That stops the clock with 2:09 to go in the 3rd. 3rd down and a long 2.
Staying in the shotgun formation, keeping a big guy, number 50, in the backfield to block. That's Ben Brown.
Long count. No flag. Vick throws, completes it to Vittori. The ball comes loose. And what are they going to call?
And Campbell gets up holding his shoulder, Tim.
What is the call? If it's a catch, it's a fumble recovery. They say incomplete.
Incomplete pass. Right. It had to be one or the other. I thought it was a catch.
It happened so quickly it was hard to tell. Oh, he
came down with both feet. He
had the ball. Goodness me.
Not a very good call. But Richard Rawls said, take it easy on him. I said, well, I will. Tim is the one that usually gets on him.
Way to go, Bob.
I'm always looking out for you, Tim.
All right, this is a crucial 4th down and 2. Vick has time, looks, throws, and it's incomplete.
And the ball goes over and down.
Yeah, that would have been a first down. That was Lonnie Stack, the intended receiver, but a ball just off the mark. But he could have had it.
After that, the hit just before that, Carlos grabbed his shoulder like he had a stinger, and he seems to be okay.
So the ball goes over on downs. So that was a crucial play there with 1:55 left in the 3rd period. Had Warwick gotten the first down, they could have possibly gotten within a touchdown, but now the Crabbers have it back. Derek Finner is at the top of your screen, split wide to the left. And off up the middle. Alvin Banks gets the call for Hampton.
Alvin's been a workhorse tonight. We got how many yards he's got on the ground?
I'll see if I can get Bob to let me know. Picked up 3 on that play. Second and 7. 63 yards on the evening for Mr. Banks. 36 on one touchdown and 6 on another.
I was going to say he hadn't carried many times. There's a lot of yardage.
At 42 of them on the 2 touchdowns, and now Campbell has to call a timeout. And he's done so with 8 carries, so he's got a pretty good average there.
He does.
Averaging about, let's see, carrier 2 divided by 6. Let's carry 1.
punt?
Almost 7.5 yards to carry.
There you go.
Give or take a half a dozen yards.
Half a yard or so. Huh?
Math was never my strong point. Time called with 1:11 to go. Hampton 20, Warwick 7. As you see the Hampton faithful right in the middle of your picture, there is Brent. Now he's probably broken the camera on that move.
Oh, I tell you, he's explaining things to Roy Watson. It looks like he's saying, "Roy, now this is what's happening." That's his father-in-law. And now that's the young man I talked about when I had won the motorcycle. He's got 2 motorcycles, 80 years old, and he said, "Bob, I'll ride that motorcycle for you." A good shot of Trish Mitchell, the athletic director for the Crabbers.
So who did you finally sell that bike to?
A young man by the name of Wayne Parr, who was I had bought a motor scooter from him back in 1968. So turnaround's fair play, right?
Yeah.
No, even
not hardly. Quick hitter up the middle.
And we got a late flag.
So let's see what this is all about. That was Darylyn Fenner who carried the ball short of the first down. It's going to probably be against Hampton from the reaction we've just gotten.
Yeah, we got holding. And it's from the point of the infraction.
Looked like the holding was right at the end of the play.
Yeah.
So that'll cost them 10, and instead of 3rd and short,
Holding, it's the offense.
It'll be 2nd and long.
Spot a foul, 8 down.
so they back him up to the 26. So they need to get to the 37. So it's 2nd down and about 11. .48 seconds, and we got movement. Left end jumped off for the Crabbers. That was Mac Jones playing that position.
You got him playing left end some tonight because he can catch the ball, but now you get out there, you get to thinking the snap is on 1 count.
Second down and 16 now for the Crabbers, so all of a sudden they're headed in the wrong direction. You'll have to give me a seatbelt here. We're going to have a special message coming up at the end of the 3rd quarter.
A special message?
Well, a special occurrence on the sidelines.
Oh, no. Would it involve Ronald Baton by any chance?
I think that's a distinct possibility.
Okay.
So pick up a couple of yards on that play. It'll bring up 3rd and long, 3rd down and 13, almost 14.
And they may not get the run another play, Tim.
Yep, they won't because clock is running and they're down to 5 seconds, and there's no way Hampton will get the play away before the end of the quarter. So that will do it. We've played 3 at Darling, and our score after 3 periods is Hampton 20 and Warwick 7. Let's go down to the sideline of Ron Baton.
You're watching the Hampton Crabbers on WHCS TV 46. Yeah!
Well, now that was excellent. They didn't need 2 takes for that, did they?
No, and talking about excellent, the Hampton High School Marching Band, one of the most difficult pieces to play is the national anthem. And they performed it as well as any band I've heard recently on a high school field when they played it tonight. It sounded really good.
And Brent Musgrove had a good point. And he said that's probably because they heard it played so much during the Olympics.
They've got it memorized. That was really a beautiful rendition and a nice job. Not to say other teams and other bands in the area are inferior, but just tonight they played that really well.
Boy, you just cover all the bases.
Yeah, I got to. That's right. The diplomacy is something you have to work on in this year. All right, 3rd down and long, 3rd and almost 14.
And Hampton is in the
gun.
In the gun.
Pressure coming from the near side, and Carlos Campbell gets tackled from the far side as coming over Ben Brown, a late number change for us tonight for the Raiders, and first man missed him, but Brown didn't. And now they'll have to bring on the kicking team with this wind. And now the wind appears to be in the faces of the Crabbers. Watch this, right side. Boom, he's got him. Nope, but the other guy did. The left side, Ben Brown, came in to make the tackle, sacked the quarterback. So the Crabbers will have to kick it. And Campbell does that as well. Kicks off, kicks punts, plays quarterback, plays safety, and pumps up the ball when they need him to. This one's going to be taken by Vic. He fumbles it and now gets on it at the 46-yard line. Again, smart play. Not only is he talented, but he's got a good head about him. He says, wait a minute, I'm not going to try and do something silly like try and pick this up and run with it. I'm going to get on it.
Hey, you try to pick it up and get hit at the same time, you're in trouble.
So the Raiders, was that you?
I think that's the Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Chattanooga Choo-Choo.
Something coming down the line there.
That's Ron down there with the, I don't know what that's called, the Hampton Crabber Mobile, for lack of a better description. From their 46, the Raiders down by 13.
It might be the Atchison, Topeka, and the Santa Fe.
Little more than 11 minutes in regulation time. Crabbers had a shot at Vic. He got away again. They got a shot this time. He won't get away. It's a loss of 2 back to the 44.
And that was Turtle Fenner.
Yep.
Good job tonight by the young sophomore.
Interesting, and again, it's very difficult not to do this, but so many times tonight we've watched the Crabbers overrun Vic, but I guess that's just that elusiveness. They've got a beat on him right here, and he's so quick.
Yeah.
But Fenner coming up, and he made sure, nice open field tackle.
Yeah, and you see him lower center. You can almost see him just kind of just crouch a little bit, lower that center of gravity. So no matter which way he went, he was going to go there too. Good job.
Again, goes back to the Hampton teams. Always good at the fundamentals. Second down and a dozen. Vic has time, plenty of time, can't find anybody, and now throws, and it's incomplete over the head of the intended receiver. And Dion Trotter was that person, but I think Vic as much threw that one away.
I think he did too, Tim. There was really no place for him to run that time, and he was really, and that's dangerous to throw back across the field like that. But it threw it high, and nobody was going to catch it. So I'm like you. He may have just thrown it away.
3rd down and 12. Clock stops with 10:14 left in regulation. Warwick fumbled the ball 7 times in the first half, losing 3 of those. Vic out of the gun. Again, has plenty of time. Throws, and he's got the man who caught the touchdown earlier. That's Weich at the 27-yard line. No, sir, Mr. Weich, you can't get up and run in high school.
And if you do that, I want to tackle you.
Well, most times they'll throw a flag for delay of game sometimes, too, because it causes a lot of reaction. Watch this play. This is a beautiful pass, but Vic has got plenty of time. They have gotten very little pressure on him when he stands in the shotgun. And there, pinpoint pass to Weich. Now watch Weich try to get up and run. I don't know what he's thinking. This is not Sandlot football.
And it's not pro.
Was not hit, but he didn't have to be. Now a timeout being called by the Raiders. That'll be their first of the second half. It comes with 9:55 on the clock. Gives me an opportunity to remind you that this game is brought to you in part by Park Lawn Wood Funeral Home, where the manager is Nancy Staten. They're conveniently located at the Hampton Center Parkway and North Armstead Avenue in Hampton. For a tour of the new facility, please stop by or call them at 827-4670. We thank Park Lawn and Zooms for being our corporate sponsors for tonight's contest. As Larry, look at those legs, Malloy traversing around the track here.
He's kind of showing off a little bit, ain't he?
Well, he's at full speed. I just wanted you to know that. He's actually jogging.
Well, that may be Turtle, right?
Now Larry says, "No, that was exhausting. I'm gonna have to take a break here for a minute.
Take a break and take a breather and."
Yeah, looking at that field, that gorgeous field.
It's beautiful, and he's got the winter rye coming up already, looking good.
Yeah, got corn behind the north stands too. I understand. Got a field of corn working. First down for the Raiders after the completed pass. Each team now with 2 timeouts remaining. Vic steps up in the pocket, throws incomplete, over one man's head, short of another. Not sure exactly which of the two receivers he was aiming at.
I think he went over the receiver. He went over the head, Tim.
I think it was Vittori.
Yeah, but he couldn't step into the throw that time either. There was a defensive man coming as he was stepping into it, so he really couldn't get all he wanted into it. So he may have been going for the deep man. I don't know.
His favorite receiver, Vittori, is a senior. However, Vic is a junior, so he'll be back to torment the Peninsula District for another year. Vic steps up, throws, and incomplete. Again, right off the hands of that same before-mentioned Vittori. And that time he just couldn't hold on to it. That ball had some mustard on it. So it's 3rd and 10. Watch the replay here. You're going to see, again, plenty of time for Vic. Steps up in the pocket and then rifles it.
Oh, and Tim, that's one that you got to catch.
Yep. Well, again, high school players. I've seen them drop it into college and the pros.
Yeah, I'm not.
But it was right there.
Right.
It was right there. And those are the nice ones, too, because they're right around your eyes. So they come right to your hands. And
well, I noticed that the Crabbers are shuffling in some defensive players trying to keep some fresh legs in there.
He's got a man open. Touchdown. 27-yard pass. And that is Brendan Hill.
Number 3, yeah. Nice route. Plenty of time. And he seems to be shaking up a bit.
Took a pretty good lick at the end of it, but he did a beautiful job right at the goal line of reaching up and making that catch. Marcus Vick right on the money. Hopefully he's going to be all right. It might have just had the wind knocked out of him. So now it's 20-13, and the Raiders now can make it a 6-point game with the extra point. And Hill bounces up. Looks like he's going to be all right, and that's good news for the Raiders.
Yeah, nice hand from the fans.
So Bureau will be on to try the extra point. Raiders now looking over to the sideline, and I'm not sure they have 11 out on the special team here. So now it looks like they got plenty of time. They just blew the whistle now to start the 25-second clock. Bureau's kick is up. It's plenty long, and it is good. So the Raiders now have cut the lead to just 6 points with plenty of time remaining, 9:37. Here is the replay of the touchdown. You're going to see Vic out of the gun, and he just rifles it right at the goal line. That was just perfect. And looked like Hill might have gotten run over afterwards, just totally inadvertently, but looks like if they ran the tape a little further, you'd see the Hampton defender. He and the Hampton defender got kind of tangled up. In any event, the Raiders have made it a 1-touchdown game and no extra points. So that extra point that was missed earlier could come back to haunt the Crabbers. I'm impressed with not only Vic, but his receiving core. He's got some really good-looking young men catching.
But he's getting plenty of time to sit back in the pocket and find and allow the people to run their patterns.
And I got to tell you something. This wind is swirling. 1 minute it's across the field. The next minute it's in your face. The next minute it's at your back. It is really a very adverse condition. It hasn't rained. Knock on wood.
I was going to say come in.
But it started to sprinkle right at halftime, and I went out to Braxton and I told him, "Don't worry, man. It's not going to rain." And he looked at me and says, "Oh, yes, it is." And guess what? So far, so good. So hopefully. I think we've just got a dry front coming through here, but it is blowing up a storm. Bureau gets the good foot in it. This was going to go out of bounds, so that'll benefit the Crabbers.
Yes, it will.
Get it to the 35. Crabbers will undoubtedly accept the penalty. And that was an example, I think, of the wind actually taking that ball and blowing it to the near sideline.
Legal procedure, kick out of bounds, ball be placed on 35-yard line, first down.
So the Crabbers now have a couple of things they wanted to accomplish, and not the least of which is they'd love to get another score, obviously.
Well, and just run the clock out.
Well, that was the other part. That was the thing. They got 9:37, and so if they could take a 9-minute and 37-yard drive for a touchdown, that would be the perfect answer. But the Raiders, now let's see if they get the momentum off of the offense. Don't forget that touchdown. It was called back. Play action. Got a man open, but he overthrew Mac Jones and double coverage on Mac, but he had beaten the defender. Got a flag down on the play right at the line of scrimmage. I think it's going to be against Hampton. Holding, big penalty. That'll cost him 10 or more, depending on the
spot is actually
Looks like
across the line of scrimmage, Tim, so it'll be probably about a 9-yard penalty. It'll be a 10-yard penalty, but it'll be like first and 19 maybe. Maybe they'll run it from the we'll see where he puts it.
Holding against the offense, 10-yard penalty, was not a foul, repeat it down.
So it is still first down. Ball is moved back to the 25-yard line, so it works out to be exactly a 10-yard penalty as the holding occurred on the line of scrimmage. Clock stopped with that incomplete pass, so that's another factor to the benefit of the Raiders. Not only did they gain 10 yards, but they stopped the clock, reserving that time. Double wideouts to the far side. On the pitch. Running room right side, and it goes out of bounds. And anymore, I'm not so sure. I got to make sure my glasses are right. Is that number 11?
11, yes.
Joe Smith. All right. Gave him a touchdown a while ago that was belonged to Bassett. So they marked the ball at the Hampton 37-yard line, right between the 37 and the 38.
We picked up about 13 yards.
Yep. Call it second down and about 7. Went out of bounds, so again the clock stopped. So the Crabbers not able to wind time off the clock on this drive so far. It's only consumed 13 seconds since they got the ball. The pitch behind the runner, and he had no chance as the defenders were just over there too quickly.
Yeah,
that was Smith again.
You got to pitch the ball in front and let him go to it, but I'm impressed that he got the ball. That was a dangerous. It's always a dangerous pitch anyway on that option play. It's got to be a perfect pitch, but that one was just behind him, and good job of Smith getting the ball.
Dion Trotter was the young man who made the tackle. So now the Crabbers looking at third down and 13 to go. So both sides starting to get into the game now. You can hear the fans on the far side whooping it up. And now we're going to have delay of game, so add 5 more. All right, we're going to return to Darling Stadium for the conclusion of tonight's ball game after this brief timeout. Back here at Darling Stadium, third down and 18. Carlos Campbell going long, and it's too long as intended for his receiver at midfield. And as soon as I can see his number, that was
Jimmy Williams.
Jimmy Williams.
Yeah.
So that one will go incomplete, and that'll bring up 4th and long. So the Raiders have held, and again, with this win not being certain whether it's in your face or to your back, this punt is going to be crucial here for Campbell. 8:27 on the clock. Campbell, good snap, kick is away. Wind definitely held that up. Looked like it was going to get a nice roll, and Vic can only watch it roll all the way back to the 27-yard line. So an excellent kick by Carlos Campbell, and got a great roll.
Boy, he did that.
So I guarantee you that Coach Riemann would much rather have seen Vic come up and make the catch on that, even if it was a freak, even if it was a fair catch. But the Crabbers got the benefit of a nice roll, as you can see the wind blowing Susan Bowers up there, and I guess that's someone else doing some private.
Oh, that's
taping. Was that Wayne?
Wayne
Nast, yeah.
Wayne Nast does the Crabber
Yeah, he and I were talking about how every year they seem to add extra steps to the stands when you're coming up to the press box. You ever notice that? I think they added about 20 extra steps this year. All right, Vic, straight run right up the middle. And he picks up about 3 or 4 to the 31-yard line. We've got players shaken up, or a couple of players tangled up here. Did they get... Okay. Well, I was going to say Richard Rawls was in there to separate them. It didn't look like there was anything going on.
No, Brendan Hill and Nolan Cutler were discussing plans after the game. Probably going to go stop by Zoom's and pick up some pizza or chicken or potato wedges.
Brent over here during halftime talking to me was reminding me of the old days when there used to be Willis down the street here after the games. Everybody went down to Willis Junior High for the sock hop. Well, elementary school, you're right. I called it junior high, but draft school, you're right. Willis Elementary used to have a sock hop there back in the 60s.
You and Brent go back a long way.
Well, Brent's 1 year, graduated 1 year sooner than I did. Here's the replay. This is a nice defensive effort by the Crabbers to stop Vic after actually a loss of a yard. So it's 3rd down, and let's call it 8.
Big third down play by both teams.
Yes, sir, as the clock approaches the 7-minute mark in the 4th quarter. The Warwick Raiders need a first down. The Crabbers need a stop. Vic under the center. Drop back, has a man open, and this is completed. This is Jason Vittori again, out to the 45, and a Warwick first down.
What a catch. The young man is really comes up one big when you need him.
He's 6'3", 180, so he's your perfect size receiver. He's got the height and he's big enough, and Vic just found the mark perfectly.
He just went down and picked up enough yardage for the first down and just run an out pattern.
45-yard line of the Raiders. Clock moving, 6.5 minutes to go. Raiders down by 6. Plenty of time now. Vic gets some pressure. Scrambling, throws, got a man wide open at midfield. He's got the ball and the first down at the 42-yard line. That's Terrell Johnson. What a great presence of mind of Marcus Vick to find the open man.
And I know the linemen for the Crabbers are getting tired. They got to be. They've been chasing him all night, and they haven't caught him many times.
Watch Johnson here. He's just out of your picture, but Vic spots him, and then Johnson does the rest. A really fine effort on the part of Terrell Johnson.
We're in the I formation, but he was in the backfield helping block.
First down at the Hampton 41. Vic again back to pass. Now some pressure coming on Vic, and he'll just throw downfield in the general area of a receiver, and that will not draw the penalty. That was a good play by Vic to get rid of it before he was sacked. But you're absolutely right, Bob. The lineman just gets so worn out trying to chase someone like Vic. You can see it over the years when you had Marcus Higgins and Ronald Curry doing the same thing for Hampton. They'd just wear down the other team. They would just run them ragged. Clock stops with 5:50 to go in the 4th. Raiders down by 6.
Need to come up with a big play defensively, the Crabbers.
Again, Vic drops back, steps up in the pocket. One man had him by the jersey, got away. He's still going. He's at the 40, and the scrum still hasn't taken him down.
They may have been trying to get the ball away.
Yeah. But he's down to the 39-yard line, so he made something out of nothing. He ended up picking up about 3. Right now, it's Marcus Vick keeping the Warwick Raiders alive. Got him on the resuscitator here. He got away from it, had him back 5 yards further back, and he just pulled away. 3rd down and 8. Another crucial 3rd down. Hope you're enjoying it here on Channel 46. High school sports at its best. Hampton and Warwick. Vic is going to be sacked back at the 48-yard line.
Yeah, was that Mac Jones?
Yes, it is. Mac Jones got to be careful they don't get a celebration penalty. They don't want any individual attention, but watch Mac Jones just fight off the block and would not let go of Marcus Vick's leg, and he was sacked back to they give him forward progress to the 46.
Well, that brings up a 4th down, and you're talking about a big down, Tim, with just a click over 4:30 to go.
2 timeouts remaining for each team. Several times tonight on 3rd and long, the Warwick Raiders have been able to convert. This is 4th and long. Vick out of the gun, has all day, throws, and it is not intercepted. And that was a good play not to intercept it, because the ball is all the way back here at the midfield.
Yeah, I was thinking, oh no, don't intercept it.
I mean, they might have run it back, but you get free yardage here. You don't even have to worry about it. And it goes over on downs. Watch the replay. Again, Vick with plenty of time just kind of lofts it up. And one of the Crabbers, I didn't see who it was.
Number
but,
2,
was it Fenner?
Yeah, Derek Fenner had his eye on the ball, hit him in the shoulder pads, which was probably a good thing.
He might have returned it, and I'm certainly not questioning it. It's so hard not to want to return it, but the best thing they did was not intercept it, because you get the ball out at the 46. All right, the Crabbers. Carlos Campbell's been the quarterback for the entire ball game. This is Campbell on a quarterback keeper, and it goes nowhere as the Raiders smell that one from the very beginning. And making the big stop was Melvin Massey, number 55, who stayed home. And Campbell got nothing. In fact, he may have even lost a yard.
Well, they spotted it when he turned around. He was stopped and had picked up a yard, actually, and then when he turned around, tried to get away, he went down, and that's where they spotted the ball.
Ball at the Hampton 45, 3:33 on the clock, and it's moving. Hampton 20, Warwick 14. Campbell wanted to pitch the ball, but it was taken away from him, and not the ball, but at least the opportunity to pitch it. And he wisely held on to it and picked up about 3. So now 3rd down, crucial 3rd down. And if you're the coaching staff for the Raiders, you wonder, all right, now do we call a timeout pretty quickly here, or what do we do?
You try to stop them, and then you call timeout before they punt the ball, perhaps. But they only have 2 timeouts left, so you got to be careful.
Huge 3rd down and 9 for Hampton. This game has been a game of big 3rd downs. Warwick's converted on several of them, have not been able to convert twice now on 4th down. Crabbers 3rd and 9. Clock at 2:33. Campbell has time, wants to pass, going deep. He's got Fenner, and Fenner can't get it because it was broken up on a
nice job by 22.
Nice defensive play by Lonnie Stack, who got a hand in because Fenner had it.
Yes.
Perfect throw. Carlos Campbell could not have thrown that more perfect.
We have
got a flag.
Yeah, we got. I thought we had movement on the line of scrimmage.
Saw the replay there. Perfect defense by Lonnie Stack to break it up, but it wouldn't have counted anyway. So that's the good news.
They're going to shift against the offense.
Of course, they'll
it's going to be
refuse it.
4th down.
Yeah, they refused it because it brings up a 4th down with 2:27 to go.
Well, Warwick had 2 good things happen on that play. They got the clock stopped with the incomplete pass, and they got Hampton in a 4th and long. Campbell is the quarterback and the punter. I can't imagine they'd fake it at this point, but I've been fooled before. Campbell got it away. It's a good punt over the head of Vick, and it won't go into the end zone. This is a great punt inside the 5-yard line.
Whoa!
Carlos Campbell has hit 2 perfect punts here in the second half.
And knowing Marcus Vick knew that ball he was going to catch it. There was no way it was going over his head.
But factor in 30, 40 mile an hour, whatever the wind is gusting, and he couldn't take the chance of mishandling the ball because that would have been a catastrophe.
All right, we got, 2:16. They've got 2 timeouts. They got the ball on the 4. They got 96 yards they got to go. They being the Raiders.
It's a tall task, but Vick can do it, and that's the thing you have to remember. He's had the great time to pass tonight. His offensive line has just given him incredible amounts of time to pick out receivers. Let's see if they can do it now in the shadow of the goalpost, standing 5 yards deep in his end zone. He's got a man open at the 19-yard line. That is, again, Vittori for the first down at the 20. The clock stops while they move the chains. Again, another high school rule that is to the benefit of the Raiders. Once they got the chain gang in place, they'll recrank the clock, and they do with 2:07 to go. 2 timeouts for each team remaining. We talked about we thought we'd have a good one, and we've got a good one.
We do that. We got to be thinking the player of the game, Tim. And I've got one. I'm going with Alvin Banks.
I got another one for you. This one is completed, and that's to the benefit of the Crabbers. Just a short gain of 3 yards to Vittori once again. And that was something that the Raiders really would have preferred. Either was incomplete or a longer pass. So now the clock continues to move. 1:35 and moving. A very tired defensive line for the Crabbers, and they just get an extra man off the field at the last second. Vick is sacked.
Oh, nice job and that's who? 61 for the Crabbers, Tim. Christopher Green.
A very timely sack, to say the least, and now the Raiders will burn one of their 2 remaining timeouts. I know. I tell you what, we're going to give 2 players of the game tonight, and it's not an easy choice because you've got several candidates. You've got the great operation tonight by Carlos Campbell. You've got Derek Fenner, who's played well. You've got Alvin Banks. You've got Nolan Cutler, Mac Jones, who's done an outstanding job. Where is that? Ron, leave that thing alone. I think we should go with, let's go with 2 tonight.
Okay, I'll go with Alvin Banks and
Nolan Cutler.
There you go.
Yeah, he'd feel funny if Ron had flame thrown into that.
But the Raiders still in the ball game. 1:15 is the time on the clock. 1 timeout remaining, and the Raiders on the 22-yard line, 78 yards away from what would be a tying touchdown, and an extra point would give them the lead. But they got a long ways to go before then. Vick has time. Crabbers trying to get to him, and he throws it, and it's again almost intercepted. This one they would have wanted to intercept, and again hit him right in the shoulder blade or shoulder pads.
Well,
that was Carlos Campbell.
But there were 3 or 4 people going up for the ball.
Oh yeah. No, not an easy one to grab. I don't care whether you're the defender or the receiver with that wind and everything else on the line here. But now we're looking at 4th down and desperation time. The Raiders have to get a first down or this game is over. 1:07 on the clock.
And the Crabbers only rushing 3.
Need to get to the 30. Vick winds, throws, got it complete. This is Terrell Johnson. Johnson, if he gets away, you got to be careful. He's got great speed. And he is out to the 46-yard line where it's a first down with 55 seconds remaining. And again, clock stops while they move the chains. So a huge 4th down and long converted by the Raiders. Watch the replay.
That was 4th, wasn't it?
Yes, it was 4th and 14.
That was the first 4th down that they've
second time, actually. Third time. Long, and this is intercepted.
That's Jimmy Williams.
No, that's Joseph Smith, number 11. And he may go all the way.
And he will go all the way.
A 65-yard interception for the touchdown. They'll get a celebration penalty, and guess what? They won't care. Well, sometimes you should wait until the final gun before you call your second player of the game, right? Well, I had Smith with a touchdown earlier inadvertently. This time I got it right. A 65-yard interception return for the touchdown. Joseph.
You don't think we could go 3 tonight?
Oh, why not?
All right.
We'll
3 player of the game. This is a first for us.
You got to talk
Nolan Cutler, Joe Smith, and Alvin Banks. And appreciate Dave Buckwalter out there at Engraving Ink because he's got to come over the plaques, but he'll do it.
Extra point try flags are down, and the extra point try is good, but let's see how the penalty gets called. 27 seconds remaining. Crabbers had 2 golden opportunities to intercept, and then finally on the third try, the third was the charm. We got an illegal procedure against Hampton, so they'll have to do it again. Joseph Smith, do we have that on tape, Scotty? We'll be able to show that return? Okay. I got you. So we were unable to get that for you, but we'll show this game a couple of times.
Yes.
So you get
tape it, and then you can replay
and then you can replay it, exactly. So the penalty is assessed to the Crabbers, illegal procedure, so they'll try the extra point again. But I think at this point it's...
Well, they're going to go for 2.
Yep. Warwick gets a defender on rather late. Who is that boy? Goodness me. Casey White, 6'2", 265. He looks more like 365. This is the reverse, and it won't work as Fenner is unable to do so. That was Ben Brown, and if I was picking the defensive player of the night for the Raiders, Ben Brown would be one of my choices.
He would be one that would be in there.
So with a 12-point lead, the extra point conversion was not of great importance. And the Raiders now with just 27 seconds.
Do you think that any of the fans were disappointed? I mean, as thinking of a fan enjoying a ball game with a lot of action, I know the Warwick Raiders fans are disappointed because they lost the ball game. But, I mean, it was not – you didn't know who was going to win until the last.
Never a boring moment during this game.
It was, what, under a minute to go before it was sure.
Yep. That was a great game, and you know, our hats off to the Warwick Raiders. This is a young team. Tommy Riemann was talking about the fact he's got a lot of players coming back, and they have played extremely well tonight. And give credit to the Hampton Crabbers. They bounced back after that tough loss to Heritage last week, and they played very well and will come away with a victory. The margin may be still in question, but I can't imagine Hampton's going to come out here without improving to 5-1, which is what the Raiders will now become overall, or they're 6-1. I'll get it right yet. They'll be 5-1, 4-1 in the district.
Right.
So Carlos Campbell, who's just been outstanding, and give credit here, he punted that ball a while ago and inside the 4-yard line. You just don't get a better kick than that with a gusting, swirling, in-your-face wind. So,
but there were 2 great punts.
There were. You had 2.
You named it because both of them were excellent. But that last one, right inside the 5.
You could not have timed it better. Our game next Friday night is
Bethel.
And Phoebus.
Yep. You got it.
Right here, Darling Stadium. Hopefully it will be as good as this one. Ball goes out of bounds, but not until the Raiders had touched it. So a break for the Crabbers there as the ball was handled by Lonnie Stack, number 22, but he couldn't keep it from going out of bounds. So they'll mark it at the 16-yard line. So the Raiders down by a dozen, and just 1 second went off the clock on that play. So Alvin Banks scores 2 touchdowns tonight. Joe Smith 1 on the interception of 65 yards. And then Solomon Bassett scored the other touchdown for Hampton. The Crabbers improved to 5-1 and stay in the hunt. Division 5 looks like they'll have 3 very strong representatives from the Peninsula District if all things continue as they are. Still got Phoebus in the hunt. Hampton's got to play them the last game of the season.
And so does Warwick.
Yep. Yeah, Warwick's got quite a schedule in front of them. They
got Warwick and Heritage yet, both, don't they?
Yeah, they have Hampton tonight, of course. They have Heritage, Phoebus, Bethel, and Menchville. So they've got Hampton out of the way now, a loss, and they got Heritage and Phoebus back-to-back. So you talk about tough tasks. Hampton calls a timeout with 22 seconds to go. Apparently they did not have the right team on.
Well, I tell you one thing. There's no doubt in my mind that those young men on that defensive line are going to sleep well tonight.
Marcus Vick just ran them ragged, and give credit to the offensive line of the Raiders too. They gave him excellent protection all night long, and this is no second-rate defensive line Hampton's got out on the field. They've got some good guys there, but Warwick gave Vick plenty of time tonight. But the Crabbers defense did the job when they needed to do the job. That old adage you and I have overused too many times during the years, but it's hard not to, where you bend but don't break.
That's right, and Hampton has done that.
You know, if McCullough was here, we'd still be in the third quarter.
No way am I getting into that.
I don't want him to touch that.
Bob's trying to get us in trouble.
That was Bob Killen, if you heard that.
If you heard that. He's been showing us cartoons, and
yeah, he has been a little different tonight, isn't he?
that's a one-hopper, and they're going to say that was a forward pass, but it was close to being a lateral.
They agree with me.
He's not getting me into this.
Yeah, I'm not. You're not going to bite? Oh, you had a good time up at Kings Mill today, didn't you?
I did. I went up to the Michelob Classic and enjoyed the beautiful weather up there. That's such a gorgeous place. Kings Mill on the James. Vick again, same play. This time he completes the pass, and the Crabbers are watching Carlos Weich, and a nice open field tackle by the Crabbers, and they said, take that, Carlos Weich.
That number 32.
32 for the Crabbers. That is Lawrence Callis, and he makes the tackle that ends the game, and the Crabbers rebound off the Heritage defeat to beat Warwick in an excellent game for both teams, 26-14. I want to thank our sponsors for tonight's contest, Zooms, with 6 convenient Hampton locations and 1 in Newport News, and in part by Park Lawn Wood Funeral Home, where the manager is Nancy Staten. Any final comments, Bob?
I tell you, great game.
It was.
Great game.
We've had a couple of them in a row now. So the final score again, Hampton 26 and Warwick 14. For Bob Henson, Bob Killen, and the entire Channel 46 crew, this is Tim Cole. Thanks for watching. Good night, everybody.